Defining Duke is brought to you by Theragun. Don't let the stress of daily life weigh on your body. Whether you're an elite athlete or someone like me who truly values health and muscle strength, muscle tension, and massage, you're trying to make it through the day tension-free, Theragun can help. Theragun is the handheld percussive therapy device that releases your deepest muscle tension using a scientifically calibrated combination of depth, speed, and power, and it is quiet as an electric toothbrush. This is something I use a lot. It definitely makes me feel much better from a hard workout or even prior when you're having a lot of tension, things of that nature. You know, I use it. It makes me feel better, and you should use it too. Let's try Theragun for 30 days, starting at only $199. Go to therabody.com/Duke right now and get your Generation 4 Theragun today. That's therabody.com/Duke, therabody.com/Duke.
Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast, is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support the show, go to patreon.com/laststandmedia. Salutations, everybody. It is Matty here, and welcome to episode 47 of Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast. As always, I'm joined by the Thanksgiving turkey himself, Lord Cognito.
Yo, happy soon-to-be holidays. You know,
Yeah.
a little festive mood. Everything's winding down type of year. You know what I mean? But I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well. You know, we're recording this a day early because we wanted to, get it in before the holidays, let Ben and Dustin catch things nice and early. So this episode is going to be nice and relaxed, right? We were talking before the show on how it's been surprisingly very busy, not with just game releases, but news every week, which never happens around this time of year. Not never, but very rarely.
Yes.
So it's been nice to see a week where we can pace ourselves a little bit. We got some fun questions with the patrons that I wanted to get into. Read some of them. I was like, we're all in that holiday mood right now. So for those of you celebrating, we hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. For those of you who aren't, I'm sorry. Welcome to episode 47 of Defining Duke. We just did Define Duke Ultimate, episode 43, where we brought in the legendary Chris Raygun to break down Halo Infinite's multiplayer. So that's something that's been long requested.
Oh boy, they on us. Like, I don't understand why you guys are not working with him. And I'm like, what?
we were ostracizing Chris for all the attention.
And it was like some silent sacred symbols beef or something. I'm just like, what is going on? You gotta love it. They wanted it. They wanted that collabo for a minute. So I gotta respect it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we happily provided. It's a nice hour plus discussion on everything from the maps to the modes, playlists, custom games, the special Chris Raygun deep dive on things you wouldn't expect. All of that is encapsulated in one single Defining Duke Ultimate episode. So check that out over on patreon.com/laststandmedia, where you can also sign up for early access to our show, which is available on Thursdays, aka Turkey Day. So we hope you enjoy. All right, Cog. Anyway, we don't have much else to do on the housekeeping front. Let's talk about what we're playing.
Yeah, man. It's been Halo all day, every day, man. I'm still stuck. I'm loving it. I just can't get enough. I'm thinking about it. We talked about it on Ultimate, Defining Duke Ultimate with Chris, how like I just get home and I'm thinking about what I want to do and stuff like that. We got a fun little trend going on Twitter right now called Ashy Spartans. For people who don't want to spend the money and you want to stay with the dusty suit. So we got that going on. And man. But other than that, I've just been doing that. And I started Guardians. I really want to get going on that. A lot of the Last Stand crew has been rocking. I want to be a part of the conversation. And I've actually, I got to shout out Hogue Law because he's one that is his opinion on movie games and stuff like that. I take very seriously. He's very hard to please so he's very particular. So when he raves about something, Cog takes notice. I'm like, okay, now I'm here. So I'm just starting that, and I'm ready to get that ride going for the holidays and kind of finish out some of the bigger games that I've been kind of waiting on. But what about you, man? What's going on?
Yeah, so just like you, lot of Halo Infinite, man. I was
Mhm.
checking my hours. I was like, oh boy, this is gonna be a dangerous looking hour count in a couple of
Mhm.
years. With all the events, like I'm already about to scratch 30 hours in this
Mhm.
thing, and we haven't even gotten our first event. Like it's just,
Mhm.
it is literally so good that I really think, for me at least, I could see this being in a talk for my personal game of the year list,
Ooh.
just because of how dynamic the game is, the emergent moments.
Yes.
It's so fun, and I
Mhm.
just keep going back to it. Of course, there's a social element, like the idea that I can just gather everybody really easy. Like the
Yes.
fact that I've been playing in squads of 5 and 6
So
is a rarity. It's usually 2, 3 tops.
yeah.
Like, this entry barrier being low definitely helps a lot. So, Halo Infinite's just been in the loop constantly. I've
Mhm.
also gotten intimate with my Switch this week.
Ooh.
Right, right,
Let's
right.
get it. Switch Gang, what's up?
Yeah, yeah. It's
Mhm.
interesting because I have been pretty against where Pokemon's been trending for a
Mhm. Give me the
while.
latest Pokemon news. I wanna know
Yeah,
what's going
so
on in these Pokemon streets.
Shining Pearl comes out, right? And it's this remake of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. And if I recall correctly, that was the last one I really loved. I had Pokemon Pearl, and that was the last one I truly had an admiration for.
No doubt.
Then I played Black and White, and
Mhm.
I remember being a kid and going, I'm done. This is boring now.
Ooh,
And I
okay,
moved on to
okay.
Mega Man Battle Network. Shout out to
Mm.
that series.
Shout out to them.
So Shine and Pearl comes around. I know it's going to be a 1-to-1 remake, but I think to
Mhm.
myself, you know what? My expectations are in check. This isn't like Sword and Shield, where honestly I had higher expectations and they just woefully missed the mark.
Yeah, like, I've heard the stories. Mhm.
Yes, terrible game. One of
Mhm.
the worst I've played in my opinion. But
Mm.
Shine and Pearl comes around. I'm like, okay, I think nostalgia can save the day here. Like
Okay,
enough
okay.
just basking in the past can mask the problems, dude. I didn't even make it an hour and I was yawning. I fell
No.
asleep. I'm not
No.
disrespectful like this. I fell asleep while playing though, man. I couldn't believe it. I woke up, I was like, holding the game. No way. Nah, like no way. I wasn't even tired. So
Damn.
Pokemon just
What's going
I made a little
on?
post about it. I kind of want to
Mhm.
make a video just about
Let's get it.
this series has really gone dry
Okay.
and it's in desperate need of a rework. I get with the remakes, like it's fun because it's simple
Right.
and there's comfort in that. But I do think that if the series in the mainline entries evolved beyond that, we could
Mm,
respect the older stuff. But because they're
mm.
like literally equals,
Right.
it's baffling how well these games do.
Mm.
And I look at my own game shelf and some of the Pokemon games I own when they used to experiment and do things like Pokemon Conquest and Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, and the list goes on.
Right.
And they just don't do that anymore. They like did Pokemon Snap again. And it's this on rails picture game.
Wow.
I hate that I'm not into it anymore, but I'm just
Mm.
not. And it's not because I've outgrown it.
That's what I was about to ask you. It's funny. Obviously, I'm not really. I'm a not Pokemon. I don't think I've ever played a Pokemon game, which is strange.
Really?
Yeah, I've never played a Pokemon game.
Really?
But I wanted to ask you this, like, as a fan, a hardcore fan of the series, and I got to shout out Addict. He's another one, right?
Mm.
Like, listening to what you're describing, like you have those moments with your series, and it sounds like you're having that crossroads moment where
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know if they're doing enough for you to evolve the formula. And could Maddie be falling out of love?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. I kind of already have. Like Sword and Shield
Mm,
was a dagger moment for me. I was like, man, they like this is your Switch game
mm,
exclusive for the Pokemon series, and it just wasn't good.
mm,
Visually, I mean, you look at all the other Nintendo series and how they've evolved over the years, and Pokemon's just an embarrassment in my eyes. Like it's just the amount of money they make and the amount that they don't do with it and the amount of
little less
staff that they
effort.
have on the games, like 100 people at Game Freak. It's like really
Mm,
equip your most popular series with
mm.
the right amount of talent. Like it's pathetic. So what's funny
Let's go.
is back in I actually don't know the exact month. A couple months ago though,
Okay.
pre-ordered the premium edition of Shin Megami Tensei 5.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
And I had played SMT4 in
Hmm.
preparation, although there was no need. The stories aren't connected. I just wanted to know what these games are like because this is where my beloved Persona has spun off from. So,
Hmm.
like SMT5 really looks good. I'm going to just go in blind, bite the bullet on this pre-order, get the premium edition. It looks beautiful, comes with a little
Okay.
school bag and everything.
Nice.
And I go straight from Pokemon Shining Pearl to this game, which just came in the mail. I'm like, let me pop it in right now. what's amazing is I realized that in a lot of ways, SMT, I believe SMT came first, so Pokemon kind of built off of it. But
Gotcha.
nowadays, because of the popularities of each series, SMT mirrors Pokemon in a lot of ways where I was like, wow, this is if they actually evolved Pokemon. And so, man, I found my rebound chick here, man. Like, wow. It was so, I was like,
That's
wow.
real. That's real.
It's like open world.
Mm.
It's really tough, gritty combat. There's new
Mm-hmm.
mechanics compared to the first entry I played.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like a true evolution.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really nice. And so far, I've been enjoying the vibe of the game. You're exploring a post-apocalyptic Tokyo.
Fire,
I love the soundtrack. Really good stuff. 10 hours into that. I've been playing a fuck ton of video games this week. It's been nice, though. We're coasting into the holidays, so the work schedule is winding down a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, those are the two main games I've less Pokemon, but two games that I really wanted to highlight here, just because SMT5, I know a lot of people want to know my thoughts because I'm a big Persona guy.
Yeah.
And this is the series that Persona spun off from. Do not expect Persona here. But IGN reviewer, I didn't watch the review, but IGN reviewer got flamed pretty hard for saying that this isn't enough like Persona. Yeah, and a lot of people were like, what did you just say? And I
pulled this card. Damn.
Yeah, and I get this, right? Because, Persona's more popular. People don't know this, but there's a reason Persona is more popular is all I'm going to say. And after 5 success, you can see combat elements that have made their way to SMT. It's all I'm going to say. It's not like it needs to be more like Persona, but let's just say that SMT took note of their younger brother doing better than them.
Right.
And found a way. There's nothing wrong with that. But tough game. Ball buster, for sure.
Okay. Well, salute, man. I always have those moments in gaming where I call it where like the student surpasses the master. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, the game that you love, and then there's another game that that's on up and coming that may be in a similar vein, and then they start evolving the formula better to what you want it to be, and the other one kind of stays antiquated, and you move forward. I've had situations like that, so I know exactly what you mean when you would describe. Like, yep, I know what he's talking about.
Yeah. So it's been a good time gaming this week.
Nice.
But that's all I have personally been playing. So
yeah, that's what's up, man.
Unless there's anything else you want to add.
The only thing I was going to say is, a shout out to my Destiny fans. They're a little mad at me because I'm actually productive. I've been on Destiny vacation for about 2-3 weeks. It's been great. Things have been, I've been getting games finished. It's like, I'm drug free right now. You know what I'm saying? Now, I know I'll be back. Probably come December the 30th.
Relapse is inbound, yeah.
Yeah. In February, it's over for me. Like once Witch Queen drops February, it's over. So I'm trying to be as productive as I can now.
Yeah, right? That's important. That's important. I do it with reviews. It's like I know I'm going to be playing, say, Starfield. So it's like, let's get these games out of the way.
Yeah, out of the way. Yep, let's boom. Absolutely.
I feel you on that. Well, anyway, that's what we've been up to, ladies and gentlemen. Now it's time to hear what you have all been up to with some of our warm-up questions. We'll begin with Matthew Mandillo. Hello, Dukes. Got a holiday question for you. When is it appropriate to decorate for Christmas? Do you wait till after Thanksgiving or whenever the festive mood strikes? My wife and I decorated recently, mainly due to her schedule because she's in grad school. I feel some will think this is too early. I will add that I live near Pittsburgh, and they just had their light up night. If my city can decorate, why shouldn't I? Hope you guys have a blowtorch to the head while breaking into Kevin McAllister's house kind of day. Dude, classic.
Classic. That's definitely a classic. When is too early? I don't come from the very like festive household, but with different people, I've dated over the years. Like it's funny to watch behaviors, and there's times where I'm like, oh wow, this is early.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then there's other like I'm the very go with the flow, whatever you want to do. If this, I know people that this makes their whole year. They cannot wait. Neighbors, friends, like I know the energy. So I don't like to steal people's joy if that's their thing. Because like I know, especially in New York, going down to the tree downtown and all of that.
I've actually never been there for that, believe it or not. Yeah.
That is like a thing for a lot of people. I'm like, all right, I just go with the flow. So to me, there's no right answer here. It's just that I just like to see the person who is very over the top with it get in their bag. And I'm like, oh, look at you. You loving this. You putting up every little light. You like every little thing got to be perfect. And where's the spirit? No, I'm like, okay, I see what you are.
Yeah.
Okay. But what about you? Like, is that a thing for you and the family?
Yeah, dude, I'm a Christmas freak. So,
okay.
We have our own traditions and we really ramp things up. And we already have our tree, by the way.
Oh, wow. Y'all ready.
Yeah. And by the way, for the patron listeners, this is early. For our free feed listeners, this is very early. We're recording this, right? We're recording this on Tuesday, November 23rd. We got it on, I want to say Sunday. Okay. Is when we got our tree. So we've had our tree for a hot minute now, and we like to get that early. Normally we wait till Thanksgiving, but we were feeling impatient this year. We really wanted to get the good times rolling. So we have that sitting in some nice water outside, drinking. And for me, man, I mean, I went to on last Friday, went to the Christmas tree store with my mama, and we went and did a bunch of decoration shopping, and a lot of it was for my place, like my office, but I'm big on that stuff, man. Like,
okay.
Little advent calendar.
Okay.
Little nutcracker here or there.
Ooh, you got the tools. You got the tools going. All that too.
Oh yeah.
The carols.
Oh yeah, man. The music's rocking. That's the tunes for the month.
Chestnuts over fire.
Yeah. Oh,
absolutely. Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay. I see the vibe.
Yeah, man. It's big for me. And honestly, if I had more room on my desk. Normally, I don't have this. I don't think it's showing on the camera. I have a TV here. This is like, I call this the retro rebound TV. Like when I got to record for that channel, like this is where I play the old games on. And normally, if you remove this, I have like a mini Christmas tree just lit up, posted up there. And I got to find a place because I used to have if anyone remembers watching my channel last year, in the background of my videos, I had a nice little Christmas tree up, nice and bright. Because of my bookshelf, I don't have that, and it's really bugging. It's actually bugging me. I'm like, I gotta find a vibe for December.
Okay.
So I might change my setup for December. Like I'm that about it.
Okay. Salute. Respect. And I know people too with the movies. That's a big thing. Like Wonderful Life and everything. Like it's a thing. Like I just like to see people get in their bag. And I know some areas. Colin would appreciate this. I had a friend in Long Island, and that like I remember going. I was invited, and I'm like, all right. I was going up there, and they were like, "Yo, we got to do the caroling," and I'm like, "Okay." And it's like they grabbed me, and then one person's like his father is the elf, and somebody saying it was a thing. But I ain't gonna front. It was the most beautiful thing in the sense that. All the kids and they had like an accordion. It was like this big Italian thing. Wow. Like I gotta speak to Dagan and Columbine because I know this got to be a Long Island thing. And they go from house to house, and it was routine. The kids knew what was gonna happen. They opened the door. It was like very festive. So I just like to see people get into that bag.
You were a part of this,
and like the fact that they brought me in is like, yo, you family too. You coming with us, and I'm like, all right, cool.
You're singing along, all that stuff.
Yeah, you get your little sing on. I'm like, all right.
Did you know all the lyrics? There are times you have to go like,
I mean, some of them you hum. In the reindeer games, and then okay, boom. But there's some I knew word, but there's some I did not know, and the kids is looking at me like he don't know the words.
Yeah, bro, that's literally my go-to when I don't know the lyrics. I just
exactly.
Dude, you do better than me, man. If I got put on the spot to do a little Christmas carol, and if I didn't know all the lyrics, bro, I wouldn't have gone.
Bro,
I wouldn't have gone.
They dressed up.
I love that.
Dressed up. I had to go. Like I was like, y'all taking this so serious. Like I gotta see what this is about, And they did like a whole tour during the whole neighborhood. I was like, salute to y'all.
I love that. So in answer to your question, Matthew, it's never too early.
It's never too early.
It's only too late.
Exactly.
Right. We got to talk to Kevin Listerman, who puts us on the opposite end of the spectrum here. Hey, Dukes, have you ever gotten into a fight over a video game before? I almost got into a fight because I was living in a dorm. One of the guys who lives next to me would come over and we played a FIFA demo. Halfway into the game, he says, I'm going to take your toaster if I win. And then he came back to win, but I never agreed. He gets up, picks up the toaster, and starts making his way to the door. I pop up as he passes my bed and yell, I'm going to punch yo ass. And I punched the toaster as hard as I could. I felt nothing. All 7-ish people in the room go silent, and he puts it back and leaves. The toaster stops us from getting into the fight, and he didn't mess with me again after that point in time.
The violence of video games.
Yeah, I don't know if this actually happened. Like, I read this and I was fascinated. Where I was like, we could talk about this, but do you believe Kyle's story here?
I mean, he shouldn't. If he was going to bet, he gotta. If he's really about that life, he going to bet. He got to put the toaster up. He just sounded like he really wasn't ready to do that. He didn't agree to it, and then the loss went down. He definitely ain't getting to give the toaster up.
I never dormed in college, but I do know the toaster and microwave are key survival mechanics, if you will. They are required to stay alive out there because you are not going to be making your own food. You need
that's a fact.
You need that fast food, like Hot Pockets, toast,
classic
English muffins. Like,
let's go.
You need that, right? So he was taking Kyle's life there, effectively. Think about it.
Yeah, that was a violation. I mean, I completely understand the stakes here. Like, I want to be very respectful. You know, the only thing I can similarly, like, I've never. King has gotten into a fight on a video game, but yeah, I've never gotten into a fight over, like, what our stuff is always dudes talking a little too strong. Like, so, like, my extent of my beefs in video games with people would be like, you know how you jump into like a Call of Duty room, or you're playing with someone new, bring somebody in your party chat, and y'all playing together. And they're like, yo, bro, what's up? Yo, get over there. You know that dude that's trying to order everybody around? Yeah. And like, he act like he's the guy, but then you looking at his KD and he dying all the time too. Yeah. But he want to boss the whole crew. Like, I don't like those dudes. Those are the dudes that get me tight. And I'll be like, yo, dude, who you talking to, man? Yo, come on, Cog. You know, and they trying to talk. I'm like, oh, because you always got that dude that wants to be the leader, right? And I'm cool with playing my position, but just the way you got to talk to me, bro. Just be respectful. Like, don't be ordering me and act, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, what the hell are you doing? Yo, what's going on up there? Right. On my flank, on my six, that guy. Like, those guys really annoy me sometimes. And yeah, I've gotten into it. And a couple times, like, you know what? I'm the defender of the crew. So what'll happen is, I got dudes in my crew that they're real quiet. They all about just having fun, and they just want to play the party chat, have fun. So you got the boss dude yelling at them dudes, and I'm like, yo, don't talk to my man like that. We're not doing that. And then, like, I'll shut it down because I'm saying what the quiet guys want to say. Right, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just kind of like stepping in front, and then like, yo, what you mean? And then it'll pop off.
Bodyguard
status. Like, yeah, and I'm like, well, you can leave then. You can get out. You know, we don't need you though. And that's how that usually resolves. So yeah, that's the extent of my like beefs in video games, but never to a point where I fought. But what about you? Like, you ever got into it, or like maybe the co-op went a little too left, or was a little bit, you know?
Yeah, I was trying to think when I picked this question because, you know, this one seems like such a rash escalation, you know?
Yeah.
You didn't even say like, hey, give me my toaster back. He stood up and said, I'm going to punch your ass.
Then, yeah, he's I'm punch you.
Yeah, like that was the quote. Passes my bed and yell, I'm going to punch your ass. So
it's real.
I guess the man was warned, but still threw a punch without really much consideration of what else could have been done. For me, I'm not passive, you know, I always believe that talking can solve everything. Yeah,
of course.
And I think of game battles because your man was a big competitive Call of Duty player in high school.
Let's go. Let's do
it. That was my calling card. I thought that was my place in life. And funny enough, where esports was now, maybe who knows how well off I could have been doing that. But
same thing.
It's a funny thought for an alternate universe. And yeah, when it came to game battles, you know, I'd always play with the boys, and everyone had that same, you know, we came from sports background, so everyone had that competitive, you just want to win type of spirit.
Of course.
And yeah, heated debates, but never to the point of throwing a punch. Yeah. Never to the point, but like, yeah. And then you like, after an hour, you're like, man, it's a game. What are we doing?
Yeah.
That's what it always comes down to. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. The last point I'll say is Destiny fans will get this. Destiny Day 1 raids and going in blind and not, you know, no one really knows the mechanics. And, you know, you always got that guy that don't want to admit that he doesn't really know what's going on, and he keeps messing up and making mistakes, and the team will wipe. Those will push friendships.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then sometimes after
those are long, like
they'll be like,
resets.
Cog, don't bring that dude in here ever again.
Yeah, that's typically what the group does. Like, if we're trying to accomplish something, we know it can get obstructed. To avoid that fight, you make the calls, right? You're like, this person's not coming aboard.
Yeah, or you get the text during the thing. They be like, yo, check your phone.
Yeah,
during the game.
I sent you something funny. Check.
I sent you something funny, and they be like, don't you ever bring that dude.
Yeah,
those be the ones. Yeah, for sure.
Too funny.
Too funny.
Defining Duke is brought to you by Credit Karma. Do you feel very overwhelmed when you're handling your personal finances? Just know and take solace in the idea you're not the only one, and we all stress a little bit when it comes to finances. But that's why Credit Karma is here to help you make some of those big calls with more confidence. Now, with this in mind, I recently purchased a car, and you're taking out a loan for that, and I'm looking at it wondering to myself, am I taking the right offer here? Now, on Credit Karma, you can check out multiple loan offers side by side. And members who compare loan offers on Credit Karma can save an average of 30% on interest rates. So, your boy maybe could have saved money, but I'm going to put my head in the sand and pretend that never happened. Matty's not wrong with that. So, are you ready to apply? Head to creditkarma.com/loan offers to see personalized offers with your approval odds right now. Go to creditkarma.com/loan offers to find the loan for you. That is creditkarma.com/loan offers.
Let's talk to NeoJD next. My NYDD boys, with Black Friday around the corner and the sales haven't started early this year, I was wondering what your buying habits are like now that you host this show / your own podcast. I know you guys may get review codes or flat out buy games day one to review for the audience, but are there any games that you wait to pick up on sale? Did you buy anything this week? Thanks. And I hope you guys have a I'm going to need you to work this holiday kind of day.
Damn.
Yeah.
Don't suck.
Yeah. Fortunately, Colin said I'm going to need you to work a couple days beforehand.
Yeah, shout out to Colin. We getting this work in early so we can enjoy ourselves. Yeah, man. Let's see. So due to buying habits, because we run podcasts, it has changed. Like lately I've been fortunate, finally to get a couple of review codes. Obviously, you and I both, we can say on record, we are both playing Halo Infinite, the campaign portion. And, so those kind of things definitely assist with, obviously not having to buy games as frequently, right? But then I got to be honest, I think the Game Pass situation really changes things, because it's like a lot of times I remember, when I knew things changed this year, like the last couple of years, I remember when it was a big deal. Black Friday sales, yo. Black Friday's coming. All those games I waited on. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get this for like 40% off, 50% off. Now's the time. And I would just go through the list and just rack up. And I'm like, damn, I got that. That's in Game Pass. So like, it's not as much. So now I would probably lean more Nintendo, because they never go on sale. Nintendo. So when they got a sale, you better jump on it. So it's like Nintendo and PlayStation, I find myself leaning down for their digital sales or their Black Friday, whatever. And I'll check Best Buy, whatever. And I think I ordered last year, I ordered like 2 games. I think I did. It was like Avengers, because I wasn't willing to pay for Avengers at the time. Shout out to that. Did y'all see that Spider-Man?
Oh,
that's worthy of a sale. That's worthy of, I'm not. Oh, bro, you ain't see the memes and how he was shooting the webs and they was like, he looked like a white woman in Zumba class.
He did. It's so true.
I ain't going for no disrespect, but it was bad. It was bad, but it's those games that you either you really wanted, you just couldn't afford at the time, and now I lean more on Nintendo and PlayStation with my sales, but with Xbox. Is really, and then with the site, I'm getting codes, and I'm disseminating them to the team. So it's not as much anymore. But what about you? I'm curious about your spending habits now.
Yeah, it's funny because I typically when I when I always review a game, I buy that game day one. So any game I've reviewed, I purchase. And so what happens is, to me, that's just a policy I inherited from Carrick that he kind of taught me about, like, put your $60 or $70 on the line. Would you have spent it? Would you not have? At the end of the day, you put your money out there so someone else didn't have to. And I think that makes your reviews a lot more authentic. So I follow in that lead from him entirely. And so there are a lot of games that I just have even, man, the hardest is when you're spending the 70 on a game that you just didn't like.
Oh,
That is like when it's really tough because
yeah, you gotta
again,
go in.
it's the policy, right? Like it's like we got to
Mhm.
do this. I know this will piss some people off, but I think like The Last of Us Part 2, I was like my hand was shaking as I handed my card over. I'm just like Avengers day one. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh
shit.
my god, like just take it and swipe, you know.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the unfortunate part is I have games in my collection that I probably would rather not. But again,
Mhm.
I do it for the audience. So there
Salute.
are a lot of games I already have. And what Black Friday is for me now is typically I
Mhm.
don't shop during Black Friday when it comes to gaming because I'm very lucky to get a lot of stuff early. Now
Mhm.
that I'm very big into game collecting,
Yes.
I know that these games drop up in price pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So I just wait for some of these that I already had digitally to do. I call them collection cops. You know,
Okay, talk to me. What's
want
that?
want to add this to the collection.
Mhm.
So there's games that I snoozed on for a while that I have digitally, like I think Mario and Rabbids. Like I champion that game, right? Mario and
Yeah.
Rabbids, I'm a big advocate of. I think it's the
Yes.
probably the best Nintendo Switch exclusive.
Mhm.
XCOM Mario, man. Cog, you would love it if
Yes.
you haven't played it.
I was in.
Okay, you were in good.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
this
absolutely,
is good.
absolutely.
Yeah, this is like
Mhm.
your game. And
Hard, very difficult. More
yeah,
difficult than you think. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. But
Mhm.
such great mechanics. And I never owned it physically. So it
Mm.
was cleanup time for stuff like that.
Yep.
And that's sort of where I went in this holiday season. There were
Mhm.
ones I picked up.
Yep.
Like actually, I'll admit I never got around to getting Guardians when I had first reviewed it. I forgot why, but that was one that when I saw it on sale, I was like, oh shit, like I forgot to get it.
Yeah.
So I went and picked that up on sale
Mhm.
because that dropped off really quick.
Yes.
I regret buying Demon Slayer, 60
Mm.
bucks. 3 weeks later, here we are at 35.
Wow,
So
it go.
lesson learned. Definitely
Yeah.
waiting next time. But yeah, that's kind of what it was for me. It's collection cleanup season to do a little
Yeah.
Black Friday,
Yep.
especially my Switch collection got a nice treat this year.
Mhm.
Just made some nice additions to the library. And because of Sonic Adventure and how much I actually found myself enjoying it, saw Sonic Colors on Xbox for
Okay.
20
Okay.
bucks.
Okay.
I was like, all right, we'll do it. We'll pull the
Let's
trigger.
do it. All right.
So
Yeah.
that was the one I bought that I hadn't played.
Gotcha.
And it's usually 40, got it for 20. So
Nice.
yeah, a little bit of cleanup there. But
Respect.
then it's time for the family purchases, right?
Okay.
Time to spend big this year. So
Oh, yeah. You
that'll
know
be
you gotta
fun.
hook the fam up. You
Of
already know.
course. Fam and
Mhm.
friends get the best treatment.
Yes.
Anyway, let's move on to Dorian. Hey guys, first time, long time. What are your thoughts on Halo multiplayer having 119 achievements? This seems really over the top, especially coming from Xbox's premier studio and franchise. Have a really forgetful day. P.S. Please, Xbox, implement a platinum trophy copy.
Yes. I spoke to Jason on that. I let him
Mm,
know. I shot
mm.
the shot.
What did he have to say about that, real quick?
He did not shoot it down. He basically said this is something that the team has been getting a lot as well. And the docket I get for 2022, though, is DVR fixing first. And because a lot of they getting killed for that DVR stuff. And
Yeah.
yeah, the achievements is on the list, and it was one more. But he didn't shut it down. And
Okay.
apparently it's up there. So they've been getting it multiple times from other people. So I'm like, yeah, let's redo it, man.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, what do you think about 119 achievements across Halo multiplayer? What I noticed when I was taking a scroll yesterday is two things. Number one is there's an elimination mode mentioned in one of the achievements that you cannot acquire. It says
Mm.
revive 3 allies in an elimination round.
Mm.
So, this is a mode that I'm thinking will be added in for launch
Yes.
day. I'm
Okay.
guessing
Okay.
because it's already there in the achievements. It's at 0.01%. So, no one's got it except the
Popped it.
developer somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But it's there, it's not hidden, and there are a lot of secret achievements in there
Yes.
that I don't
Yes.
know if they're if this is a combination of the campaign and the multiplayer. I
Could
don't know
be.
if this is all campaign. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
all multiplayer achievements. But what did you think when you saw 119 there?
Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, Halo historically for me has been notorious for this kind of stuff. Because I remember like Master Chief Collection and like we were talking about Defining Duke Ultimate, like you're doing something like I did something with the Repulsor, blocked it. You did something with the, Repulsor, and a rare achievement popped. And they have these very situational, achievements that I guess they want to kind of cash in on the emergent gameplay of the sandbox. So I've always felt that, like, sometimes I get a little bad with games where they like, you do something like that, and be like 5 points. And I'm like, what? I repulsed someone's grenade back at them, killed them. I didn't even know it was a rare achievement pop. And I'm like, 5 point, really, Halo?
Yeah.
So Halo, for me, even since like Master Chief Collection, like they divvy out very small increments. And I'm the type of guy that sometimes I like those little 50 chunks, those 100 chunk achievements. I like the chunk achievements. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the little ones kind of bother me sometimes. So yeah, I'm like,
but they're good for those Microsoft reward points, yeah?
Yes. That's what
you're popping them in plenty, getting nice 50 points. Yeah, bro.
Yes,
great.
Absolutely. They're good for that. Yeah, I think for me it's gonna be, I'm with you. I think some of the secret one hidden ones, my gut tells me will probably be, some of them will be campaign related, and they don't want to spoil maybe with achievement art or description what it might be, so we get that. But generally, from what I remember, a lot of them are very multiplayer and mode specific and situational. So that's what I got. But what do you feel about like 119 achievements, or are you like indifferent?
I love to see it. I really do. I think it's great. I didn't expect any achievements in a free-to-play multiplayer. And I love that it syncs with my Steam account. So whenever I log on to Steam and I fire up the game, it just pops all the achievements, and that kind of level of crossplay is nice. And I know it's not the only one that does it, but I don't really utilize my crossplay. But this game I'm so hooked to, it's like I need it on every system. I got it on my work computer here and on my Xbox. And so it's just available everywhere.
Nice.
And I love to see all these achievements, because as you said perfectly, it's just doing a cool move and just seeing it pop was really nice. Yeah. I mean, it also just kind of tells you what things do for achievements hunters. Like, you'll look at the achievements and go like, oh, I can do that. I didn't know that. I got one last night because of what Chris said during our show. Remember, he said like you could grapple shot up the wall and then shoot at a wasp and grapple jack. And that stuck with me, right? That really stuck with me. So last night, like, I was playing Big Team Battle. I finished all my challenges for the week. So I was like, you know what? Kind of just, I want to see what you can do in this game. Yeah. So I threw the KD away, and I was like, just kind of going about the map like an idiot. Yeah. Seeing what I could accomplish. And I did that. And I was like, wow, you really can. You really can. And it was amazing. I got the achievement for it and everything.
Wait, paint the picture. I need this achievement. What we got to do specifically?
All right. So we're on, oh my God, it's a map I forgot last show because I hate this map. The one with the 3 roads. It's got the metal thing in the middle.
In the middle, yeah. I know. I hate that map. I hate that. That's the one I hate.
So I am on the side with the ton of rocks where the Hydra spawns and everything. And see this wasp coming in hot. So I sprint at the wall. I look up as I'm running, shoot my grapple in the air like Spider-Man. Up I go, right? And now me and this wasp are like eye to eye in the air. I'm just like looking at him like a ninja in the night. You see the moon in the background. I'm just like staring at him like, you're dead. And so I'm just staring my cooldown meter down this whole time. And
you look. Yeah, grapple to come back.
It fills back up. I'm like, I'm still even with this guy, and I shoot the grapple shot at him, and in I go, and I take him out, shoot him with the wasp. I gotta post the clip because I made sure to hit the record what happened button.
Nice, you gotta post that.
Yeah, I gotta post it because it was a really cool moment. Felt amazing. Nice. Like that last night was just peppered with those things. Like I was just experimenting. I took out the repulsor. And I found out that you can, just the amount of things that you can reflect. It's cool to have what I call like a real-time counter in Halo. So someone shot a fully charged plasma pistol, and I'm just like, boop, out of here. And off it goes. Someone threw a fusion coil. I was like, nope. And it didn't kill anyone. But the fact that you can just real-time, like, instant, just
that's empowering. Yeah, I want to master that, because that's like any game that has, not to cut you, like any game that has like a counter mechanic, I'm addicted to that type of gameplay. I love that loop of like, oh, stop that, nope, we're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? I love that. So you telling me that you can do those things is on. I want to get better with that. Continue with the repulsor.
No, I was just saying that's why I think I like the repulsor more than the grapple shot, because the grapple shot's more like style highlight reel. But the repulsor, man, like the things that you can just, there's nothing better than watching someone, because Halo's all nades, bro. And watching someone like, like roll them at your feet, and you're like, fuck out of here. And
loved it.
Back. Yeah.
That achievement pop was so satisfying when I did that with the grenades. Yes.
Yeah, man. It's such a good feeling. And especially because it doesn't just ragdoll like projectiles. Like if your friend's body's on the ground, you repulse, he's going with them. Like,
did you say you
are so fun.
Oh, the sandbox is crazy. Did you say you splatted someone with Ultimate too with that? Was that you?
Yeah. You pancake. Metal. That was an achievement too. That one caught me off guard. Yeah, you can actually, was it an achievement? It might not have been, but it was a medal that I didn't know existed until Live Wire. He's up against the wall, and I'm just like, I just need to mess up your aim, man. Get away, and I just squeezed him against the wall, I guess, and that was it. Really cool that it exists. So, what I love about this achievement list is they kind of inform you on things you can do. And I feel like this type of game, like, you do what I did one night. You just kind of experiment, see what you can do, and then you try to implement that into real-time gameplay. Like, there will be a time I'm going to be sprinting gunfight, up I go, and hopefully I can grapple jack someone while I'm up there.
Damn, I can't wait. We're going to end this part. We're going to
I know, right?
You got me in the bag now.
Yeah. You always just want to experiment with this thing, man. It's so good. So,
yes.
Thank you for the question, Dorian. Let's talk with Ilya Stareverov. I have to bring up the other doc. For some reason, my iPad's been glitching, and it'll like part of the.
You want me to get this one? While
I do have it up. I bring it up just in case, but I don't know why.
Problem.
It's the only app it happens on. It doesn't show part of the write up I do. Hey, Macho Men, what's your dream announcement for the Game Awards? Let's keep it fun and exclude things that are already rumored. Thanks for the great show and have a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you, Elia. All right, what are we hoping to see, Cog?
But Elia said we can't say anything that's rumored already. She's taking away a lot of thunder. I'm simple. I'll keep it simple. There's two games that I'm really fanboys of that I'm really a fanboy of that I just want a new edition. And one would be XCOM, like an official XCOM, like 3. Like I know they've had War of the Chosen, then they did Chimera Squad, which still has not come to console. Where is my Chimera Squad on console, please?
Yeah, that's weird. I didn't even realize.
Yeah, we've had the dev on ILP. Shout out to Mark Norda, awesome guy from Firaxis, and they did a good job. It was a very story element type one, but it was kind of like the events after XCOM 2, but and now aliens are integrating, and it was pretty cool. And they had like a special SWAT unit, which is like half alien, half. The story's dope. You know what I mean? But I'm just like, okay, then I want to see where 3 is gonna go, right? So 3 would be, and then you know how much of a Tekken fan I am. I don't know if it's time. It may be still early. I feel like Harada and those guys. I'm trying to remember when the last DLC was, but I would love like, hey, we're working on Tekken 8, and this is what I would love that. But Tekken's generally, if not, you know what? No, actually, it wouldn't be Tekken 8 because it would probably be Tekken Tag. Like if they say, Tekken Tag 3.
Just a new Tekken game, man.
Yeah. Give me a new Tekken in some way, especially like a tag, 4-player co-op, drop in, drop out, tag, get like that. Anytime those are my core games, like Tekken, XCOM, obviously Destiny, of course, but if I get one of those, just an announcement that they're working it, I'm excited.
Yeah.
It's simple.
Yeah, man. Dream announcement. There's you dipped into some really good ones there. Of course, there's really obvious ones, like if they announce something like Fallout 3 remaster, New Vegas remaster, like
yes.
I'd be all for this.
No doubt.
But I think what would truly be like out of my seat screeching is if I saw like something new for Lost Odyssey. I'm a really big fan of this game.
That's a classic, bro.
Yeah, this is an Xbox 360 exclusive JRPG, something we haven't seen in quite some time, by the way. And it is a game I played for the first time last year. I replayed it this year for RPG Time Machine for my channel. It's pretty much Xbox's Final Fantasy, but I love the theme of like, you are an Eternal. You have seen thousands of years of conflict, of disease, death, destruction, and how like cold your main character is because of that. Because otherwise, if that backdrop doesn't exist, he's just your detached douchebag anime protagonist. But he actually has a reason for it. I just feel like the way they capture that worldview, and your team is a mix of mortals and Eternals, where like you have these little kids on your team, Cook and Mac, And knowing that in this game's universe, they will outgrow you and die, and Kime, the main character, and Sarah will continue to live.
Yeah.
Like, they've almost been blessed and cursed.
Yes, it's a blessing and a curse. Yeah.
I feel like nowadays that game plays extremely well. To see a sequel for that would be incredible.
That would hit. That would hit.
That'd be incredible. Of course, for me, man,
let's go.
No indication of this one. TMNT open world game of some kind. I love these sprite-based games. Don't get me wrong. That's like, I get it. That's TMNT's heritage, right? Like,
yes.
Turtles in Time is a classic that many know far and wide. It's a good reason for it. But I think TMNT, as someone who has grinded all of its content, I read the comics still. It's so ripe for an open world game. Set in nighttime. The ability to traverse the rooftops or get into the various vehicles they have, the shell cycle, shell truck, so on and so forth. There's so many ways to get around and make this, Spider-Man-like open world game. And they just played so safe. But I don't get it. There's so much heritage, love, and a widespread appreciation that it's not what it was in, say, the 90s.
Yeah, of course.
With the movies and the cartoon, I get it. But it's because they haven't done the risks like they did back then with the games, the movie, and the cartoons. And nowadays they just like try to go for the safe bet. So, man, if I could see that, like, my dream would be Rocksteady doing this open world team. I've been saying that for a decade now, actually, when I look at it, because I beat Arkham City and I was like, man, would love if they did this for the Ninja Turtles. So that's crazy to think about. I would lose it, though, if that was anyone was doing that, just because I think it's so overdue.
Yeah, Rocksteady name's kind of fitting because Resident Enemies and Turtle and Rocksteady and Bebop.
Yeah, and it's funny. There was a rumor, and I want to say it was 2013 or 14, that they were working on TMNT. Obviously, ended up not being true, but that was a rumor for some time. And I remember like holding my breath, man. I was like, please.
Those are those dream rumors. You're like, yo, please let this be true.
Literally what I always wanted. Always wanted them to do that. Now they're doing Kill the Suicide Squad or whatever the hell it is. Kill the Justice League. So we'll see how that goes.
We'll see. Respectful. I'll see you.
All right. Well, that's all the questions we got from the audience. We'll talk with you soon. For now, we got some news to get into, starting off with, of course, Halo Infinite. If there was any concern about a delay for Halo Infinite's campaign, a Cyberpunk 2077 situation withstanding, you can wipe those worries away now. 343 has confirmed that Halo Infinite has gone gold, meaning the master copy of the game has been produced and sent to the production line for replication. With this in mind, we can say that December 8th might be a good day to mark on your calendar to take some time off with a level of confidence. So, Cog, it's on the way. It's happening.
Yeah. We go, boys. We go. It's go time. Let's go. We're ready. We've got a chance. We've been blessed, both of us, to have some campaign spoiler-free kind of a preview up on the Mr. Matty Plays chat. You see the flex? You see the flex? You see that? And up on lordsofgaming.net as well for your pleasure. So, the vibes are initially strong, and we'll see how it goes on the 8th. But I'm ready, man. Obviously we've talked about this game ad nauseum and what they should have done and how it should have happened. But at the end of the day, I'm excited. Xbox is in a good place, I feel, momentum-wise, to end the year out with a Halo, a Forza, Age of Empires, a Psychonauts, and it's just been it's a good culmination to a comeback year. That's what I call it for them. And yeah, I'm excited to see if they really do it with this campaign. But what about you? Now that it's gold, like we're getting closer.
It can be a true story if this game's a real success on what happens when you delay and polish up. It really can be. If the story comes out and it's as sound as the multiplayer component is, obviously we know that'll be the case mechanically if there's any remote carryover from campaign to multiplayer to campaign. So I feel like it'll just be a message to a lot of devs, like, give your team the time.
Yes.
And look what can happen. And that's always good news for us. Unfortunately, it means frustrating delays. And look, I'm with people. Like, I am the one who validates your anger with delays. Like, I am that guy, because a lot of people always drop the, Miyamoto quotes, take your time. And look, like, I get that. You and I with like Halo Infinite, we're team delay, right?
Yes.
Like, everyone's like, get it out now. But most times they're like, please delay your video games. And people, when they get your game delayed for like the third time, they get annoyed. And people are like, don't you want the best possible product? It's like, stop trying to shut people down for being frustrated. The thing that they want keeps getting nudged along the calendar.
I get it.
And so, off topic, but ultimately, man, just that alone was off topic. Okay. I felt, but I just, I'm hoping that this can send a message at the end of the day that the delays can make your game good if necessary. But I also know there's a bit of perfectionism involved in some of these delays where it's like, all right, this game's ready. It's like, it's ready to come out of the oven. It has been. Us tweaking it again isn't going to do much. Just let it go. Right? Let it go into the wild.
Let it go. Hey, man, look, I respect where you're at with it. There's always going to be a level of disappointment for sure. You know what I'm saying? But what it is I've learned as you get older, you learn, you're like, you know what? All right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, especially now for us.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm over here. When y'all ready to come outside, y'all let me know. I'll be over here. Because I can't, because I know it's when it's something you really love, it does hit hard. You're like, damn, I thought you was going to come out. Like, I had it all planned up. I know dudes who take off work. I feel you, bro. I know dudes who take off work for certain things, and then they get the delay. They be like, oh, man. So I get it. But I'm just like, whatever, take your time. I'll be over here doing X, Y, and Z until you're ready. But
I feel you on that. You know what's funny, and maybe you can remind me, but we see a ton of delays now to make sure games at least come out. But when was the last time we saw like a major cancellation? Right? Like, remember we saw like Scalebound and stuff, but I was thinking about that while taking a shower. I was thinking of Scalebound because I saw it in the article in the news, and I saw like Hideki Kamiya was apologizing to Microsoft and stuff, which was really interesting. And I was thinking, like, when was the last time we saw like a high profile cancellation for a game? I'm sure there's been one, but I just can't think of it. Obviously, Scalebound's like notorious, but
of course.
Beyond that, I'm like, we were in an era where games were getting canceled because they were getting shown off way too early. It makes you wonder now, because I don't think we see it as much, what have we never seen before?
It's a good point. That's actually a great question. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just like, it doesn't seem like it happens as much anymore, right? At least past the announce phase. Yeah. Like, once something's announced, it generally nowadays comes out. Like, it may be later, it comes out. But yeah, other than that, like, I can't really think. It's been that long. I can't really think of anyone off top that was announced. It's anticipated, and then, sorry, due to whatever, we're canceling outside of that Scalebound.
Yeah. Right. So it's just a thought that really came to mind for me. Like, I always thought like Hogwarts Legacy had the chance to be canceled at one point when that trailer was leaked 3 years ago. I remember Carrick and I spent a whole year on ham radio going, when like every showcase, like, oh, it's gonna be here, yeah. Oh, it's gonna be here, yeah. And then like one random showcase, and I think it was 2019. I think it was Game Awards. They just go like, here it is, boom, and it was so delayed. So I remember that being a candidate for cancellation in my eyes. But yeah, it's so rare. Anyway, congrats to 343 on going gold with Halo Infinite. We're looking forward to playing on launch day, or maybe earlier. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. We'll be sure to flex a little bit.
We will flex a little bit on our coverage. Defining Duke is brought to you by Theragun. Don't let the stress of daily life weigh on your body. Whether you're an elite athlete or someone like me who truly values health and muscle strength, muscle tension, and massage, you're trying to make it through the day tension-free, Theragun can help. Theragun is the handheld percussive therapy device that releases your deepest muscle tension using a scientifically calibrated combination of depth, speed, and power, and it is quiet as an electric toothbrush. The Generation 4 Theragun doesn't just feel good, it gets to the source of the pain by releasing the tension using Theragun's signature percussive therapy, which goes 60% deeper than just vibration alone. Whether you want to treat your muscle tension from working out or injury or just the stress of everyday life, there's no substitute for the Theragun Generation 4. The OLED screen and design makes you feel like you're holding something from the future. Just go to their website and check it out. Theragun app learns from your behavior and suggests guided routines. This is something I use use a lot. It definitely makes me feel much better from a hard workout or even prior when you're having a lot of tension, things of that nature. You know, I use it. It makes me feel better, and you should use it too. Theragun is trusted by 250 professional sports teams like Real Madrid, elite star athletes, Paul George, DeAndre Hopkins, Maria Sharapova, hundreds of thousands of customers, and of course, Duke Cognito. So what are we going to do? Let's try Theragun for 30 days, starting at only $199. Go to therabody.com/Duke right now and get your Generation 4 Theragun today. That's therabody.com/Duke, therabody.com/Duke.
All right, let's get into number 2. Short news this week, by the way, for those who are expecting a lot. We got 5 items on this report. Normally, I tell you how many we have. SEGA has spoken more on its recently announced strategic alliance with Xbox and the future of cloud-based development. Quote, "We have also announced the start of a strategic alliance with Microsoft to create super games towards the creation of Super Game, which we are aiming in long-term strategy. We already have a very close business relationship with Microsoft. We outsource the development of their large-scale titles, and as a third party, we are supplying a variety of titles. When we announced the concept of Super Game, Microsoft was sympathetic to that vision, and that leads to the announcement this time. About this, we are not talking about releasing games to Microsoft exclusively, but rather to develop Super Game that will be delivered to the world together with their technical support." So this is a very illuminating quote, I would say. You and I were both of the mindset this is a butter up move, get them a little bit closer. How do you feel about them saying no exclusives inbound?
Nothing has changed. This is how I feel. And it's funny you brought this up because big debate on IOP. Shout out to Carrick. He actually came through.
Oh, okay.
And he's on the team that, you know, this was a nothing burger. Like nothing's going to happen, right? And I've always been on record. We've been on record as well here. We've said, look, no one's saying exclusives and now they're going to get all their games exclusive because of the Sarah Bond thing. We said that what made it different was that it was not just a cloud-based partnership only, that the Xbox side of things was involved. That has not changed. Second of all, what we also said is that Game Pass and having the Sega games on the platform that were normally missed is also a driver, right?
Yeah.
So I will say to say this. Super Game, the initiative we talked about, we had the slides out. We had an amazing Define and Duke Ultimate. Please check that. I love that Ultimate we did. It was really fun.
That was a very good one.
Yeah, like we like breaking down the strategic internal portfolio of Sega. So we're looking at what Sega is saying in their boardroom about what IPs they value. And out of those, I believe it was 4 or 5 IPs that they consider their core strong franchises. Like 4 out of the 5 have now already come to Xbox in the form of Game Pass or parity or multi-plat. So to me, that's what the initiative is. Now, everything's cozy. Everything's nice. Who knows what could happen in the future, right? Yeah. And I'm not guaranteeing that, but we have to admit this is not just it's a cloud thing only because games are involved. That's the thing people have to realize. When you see a Total Warhammer, when you see a Football Manager, when you see a Yakuza Like a Dragon not missing Xbox and going into Game Pass, when you see the whole Yakuza series going in there, these are the signs that the relationship is a little more cozy than it's just, oh, I'm just doing this for Phantasy Star Online 2 server. Yeah, no. Yeah. So that's what, so Carrick hit me. What's funny is Carrick tweeted this and I was like, yeah, but no one said exclusive games. So, right? So that's what it is. So it's a fun thing because I see all people on Twitter like, see, we told you. No, nothing's changed. Yeah. That's how I look at it.
But well, yeah, because you and I brought up specifically Sarah Bond where we said at minimum, like we talked about the possibility of exclusives and that it could lead to that. But the at minimum was like, expect Game Pass to thrive with Sega games through this. Like that's kind of the goal here. I was disappointed to see, now this was just a small leak, but
let's go.
I was disappointed to see when SMT5, Shin Megami Tensei 5, what I was talking about earlier in the show, there was a leak that there was in the code stuff for a PC port, PlayStation port, no Xbox.
Right.
And this is from Atlas, who is owned by Sega.
Right.
And again, like I don't want to get cozy with that expectation. Like,
No, I agree.
get these games, man. I know they're
I
not going to be a
agree.
number one seller, but like create the expectation they will be there. Like just
I
missing
agree.
out on them is very like Nintendo Wii U type energy.
Yes,
Like, yep,
I agree.
we out, no third party here. It's like
Yeah.
it's a weird omission. So that's what I want to see come out of this. Please continue.
No. That's a fantastic point. And this is the discussion internally. This is the little silent war me and Sov have against each other. Because his mindset, which I understand, and I don't want to disrespect him and Carrick on this, is that until they like we got a bet on ILP. It's on and popping with this. Like it's
what's on the
serious.
line?
Like
What's on the line?
we's on the line. Like it's so King is like, because Sov didn't believe that the Sega relationship meant anything from the beginning. This is prior to even the strategic alliance, right? So King's like, yo, what does Xbox got to do to make you believe that Sega's coming? You know, so then this announcement comes, and I mean the announcement of Sega and them working together. So King's like, see, you gonna bend the knee? I told you they cozy. Look at Sarah over there. So then Saul was like, nah, you know this doesn't mean anything. Yeah, Saul still staying strong because Saul was just like, yeah, but so we like Saul, and I'm trying to stay neutral. I'm like, Saul, we have to admit, like Football Manager's big, Total War, you know, these are coming. He's like, yeah, but until that Persona comes, you know, it don't mean nothing. So the bet,
on that.
I feel him on that, right? Yeah. So I'm like, so the bet is, and if Persona comes, and he said, not no sideshow Persona, like Persona, you know, the next mainline joint, and he said they got to come day and date at the same time the PlayStation, not even exclusive, just day and date at the same time as with the Xbox and all the platforms, then he'll bend the knee. Because in his eye, even though we know the numbers on what these other franchises are doing for Sega, he considers Persona that thing. So that's the bet. We got to see what's going to happen.
Look, in terms of the public eye, Persona is 100% the crown jewel. Like, I'm sure Football Manager probably makes them more money.
Yeah.
Maybe not, but I'm saying, like, I'm sure it's a little bit more popular behind the scenes. But, like, in the public core gamer eye, like, Persona's it. Like, you need to get Persona. You need to get Persona past and present in my eyes.
Yes, I agree. I completely agree. It's from an optic standpoint. You don't want that omission. Now, the question I have for you, because you're really hardcore Persona, I still get the vibe. Maybe correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm with you. It's not a good look that, you know, these games from Atlas are not, you know what I'm saying, hitting it. So do you think like Atlas, even though Sega is the head, like Atlas kind of, they're so big they could kind of work on their own autonomy thing?
I think it might almost be a Xbox Bethesda situation there. I don't know for sure, but it's kind of the vibe I get with the way they operate. Because, for example, on my copy of SMT5, it's on the wall, so I can't grab it. It has Atlas on it. It doesn't have Sega mentioned on it.
Yeah.
This is like an Atlas published game. So it's not like, I'm sure Sega had an involvement in it, but it's not like they're really mentioned loud and clear on the box.
That's a good point.
I think, that could, I think it'll be the same thing with Bethesda in a lot of ways. Like, just that mentioning of mostly Bethesda. You see Xbox tucked away, maybe in like some of the legal writing on the back of the box or something like that, or in a little slip inside, or when you fire up the game. But I think like presentation wise, like that's the vibe I got. There was, when I started up SMT5, there was no mention of Sega. So I do think there's a degree of independence there for sure.
That's the vibe I got. And the reason why I thought about it, it reminded me of Respawn in EA, in the EA building, right? Because we see Respawn able to buck the trends of not using a dice, right? Buck the trends of not doing any of this other stuff. And I almost feel like when you have those like your money getters, your heavy hitters, they've earned the right in the building to do things how they want. Because if I remember, like Jedi Fallen Order, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if that was using dice. I think it was using Unreal Engine or something. Like I believe like Respawn and Vincent Pella, those guys were able to kind of go against what the EA Frostbite, Frostbite, there you go, you know what I'm saying, engine stuff. And again, I don't know all the details with Atlas, but it just feels like they have commanded enough respect in that building that they get to do a lot of what they want. And I'm wondering if that has a play with a lot of the exclusives in the relationships with their titles.
SMT5 update here. Picked out
Let's get it.
Atlas is right here on the front, right? Flip over to the back. Sega, like I said, they're like tucked away.
Tucked away in the corner.
Yeah, like tucked away right here. They are there when I open up the case itself. and I look at the fine legal print at the bottom. It says Atlas copyright, Sega copyright, all rights
Okay.
reserved. So Sega's mentioned, but again, I can testify to the idea that they do not show up when you start the game up, but
Mm.
they were involved. But yeah, they're regardless. I think Sega, if they're the ones nurturing this relationship with Xbox, then I think they have the right to go to Atlas and be like, we need an Xbox version of this, like,
Yeah.
or like Xbox has requested one. What do we have to do to get this done? That needs to be more consistent. And I'm hoping that's kind of the result of all this is the games are there. Like you can expect them because I would play them there. That's the thing. I would absolutely play them there. But they just don't provide enough. So I'm going straight to PlayStation.
Yeah,
I think it's money lost over time for them. And as for the super game part of things, I thought this was standout because they really mirrored their relationship with Xbox and making this game kind of like they did with Phantasy Star Online 2. And I thought based off that meant exclusivity because Phantasy Star Online 2 will come to PlayStation, but it was on Xbox and PC first for at least right now, like a year, and it's been there for a while. So I thought that's kind of the result of that.
Okay.
The other thing I thought of is the way they talked about Super Game. Clearly, it's a game, like an online one, but at times the way they spoke about it was almost a development platform to be used for other games. And I'm wondering if that's like they're saying, yeah, it's not going to lead to exclusives because Super Game is this platform that'll be used to make other games, which can then be exclusive. I could be misreading it, but because some of these quotes are translated.
Yeah, the translation, we don't know the context sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
But just the way I was reading it, like Super Game to me, in a lot of ways sounds like a game, but in a lot of ways, I read the portfolio. It sounds kind of like this development platform for them.
I did. It's funny you said that because I did catch some of that vibe as well, too. Like there's still a lot of gray area of what the hell exactly Super Game is, right? Is it the single platform online kind of thing where it's a game, or like you said, it could be like a tool set of things that they want to do,
right?
And that follows an initiative that they're trying to follow. So yeah. I mean, that these are all questions we have to figure out. But I am with you in the sense that I could have threw this in their face when we had the debate, but I didn't want to go there, which was like what you said with Phantasy Star Online 2. Yeah, it's not officially exclusive, right? But there's a time level of it because I remember the announcement. I was in E3 when it happened. I forgot that maybe 2018 it happened, and we're like, wow, Phantasy Star Online 2 on an Xbox platform? And I'm like, that was a big deal. And I'm like, where's the PlayStation logo at? And you didn't hear about it. You had to find about it later. And it was like, oh, this is a time exclusive. So even to that benefit, if it's a game and it's an online platform, I could still see that level happening. You know what I mean? And again, still beneficial regardless to what. The game is making an Xbox platform, going to a Game Pass. All that stuff is stuff that wouldn't happen in the past on Xbox consoles with Sega and Japanese games. So
yeah. And I don't want to sound like I'm in denial or anything here, but
yeah, absolutely not.
I'm also of the mindset this is from the perspective of like we haven't ironed out, but we're not making exclusive games yet. But if Xbox were to pony up a little bit, that things could turn exclusive. And like it's almost like they're helping us make the game, right? They're collaborating, but got pay to get that exclusivity. And I'm sure it won't be Super Game, but I'm talking about I think they're saying that the expectation is they've helped us with Super Game, so Persona 6 will now be exclusive to Xbox. Right. It's like,
to me,
no, I think they'll have to still pay like
anyone else. Of course. Yeah, absolutely. To me, this is like when we did a hashtag Go and Steady DD. Like this is, the relationship's cool, let's see how it go. We may intend to keep it where it's at. And no one buys anyone, right? And that's fine too. Yeah. It's just both are still benefiting, right? At the end of the day, but if it does happen from an acquisition standpoint, not guaranteeing that it is, but if it does, these are the moments we look back and we're like, yeah, they've been cozy for a minute. They did Super Game. They did da-da-da. That's all that is. So yeah, it's a fun thing to monitor. I love the passion from the community because we got tagged. Like everyone was tagged. I'm like, okay. Yeah, paying attention. That's good.
Absolutely. So we'll see how Sega and Xbox's relationship develop, but certainly it's been fun to watch. And I'm just hoping, like you, that beyond Game Pass games, we just know that things are going to be there day one.
Yeah, that's
starting
huge.
next year.
Absolutely.
All right, let's move on to number 3. This one is a big one, so bear with me as I
Mhm.
read through it all. Recently, the Wall Street Journal published an expose on Activision CEO Bobby Kotick. The report details a plethora of evidence showing that Kotick was aware of the ongoing sexual misconduct, gender wage gap, and overall, quote, frat boy culture, end quote, happening within his walls. Evidence ranging from internal documents to memos and even interviews with those who would be familiar with the situation detail a much clearer picture. One example highlighted Dan Bunting, former co-head of Treyarch now, where an internal investigation on accused sexual harassment in 2017 led to a conclusion that he should be let go in 2019. Kotick intervened to keep his man in place and sent him to counseling instead. Other reports show knowledge of employees within Sledgehammer taking advantage, we'll use that word instead, of a female employee after encouraging her to drink heavily. Kotick himself has been said to have not treated women properly. Many years ago, in 2006, Kotick left a voicemail threatening to have an assistant of his killed. In 2007, he fired a flight attendant that he had reportedly sexually harassed when she told the jet's other owner what had occurred there. So we're not even into the meat and potatoes of this, and it's already
Yeah, this is
pretty
bad.
crazy.
Yeah.
Perhaps the most fascinating is not what is deeply entrenched in the past, but Activision's immediate short-sightedness after a lot of turmoil in the past couple of months. After ousting J. Allen Brack and raising both Mike Ibarra and Jen O'Neill to lead Blizzard together, they decided to pay Jen less. Mike Ibarra's response, when asked, was quite telling. Now, this quote comes from PC Gamer. In a message to Blizzard employees, Ibarra said that he and O'Neill told Activision Blizzard management that they wanted to be paid the same amount because they were doing the same job. They were being paid differently, he explained, because they were under separate existing contracts when they were offered the job to head up Blizzard. Mike said, quote, I ran BattleNet and online products, and she ran Vicarious Visions, so our pay was different. The first time both Jen and I were offered a new contract, it was the same across the both of us for the new co-leader of Blizzard roles. So our compensation was going to be the same, end quote. Jen has left the company and leaked an leaked internal email stated her lack of faith in Activision's ability to turn this ship around. Since then, a walkout has taken place and leadership across the industry has spoken. Phil Spencer, Jim Ryan, and Doug Bowser have all expressed disgust at the situation and claim to find it deeply disturbing. Phil Spencer specifically stated that he is currently reevaluating his partnership with Activision, although we are yet to find out what that exactly means and if any of these companies will actually take action. The
Mhm.
latest occurrence as of this time of recording is that Bobby Kotick is claiming he will, quote, consider resigning if workplace issues aren't fixed soon, end quote. This comes after 500 plus employees at Activision Blizzard have signed a petition hoping to push Kotick out. Meanwhile, Activision's board of directors has expressed confidence in Kotick that he will achieve the goals of turning the workplace conditions around. Kotick had the following to say about himself, quote, it paints an inaccurate and misleading view of our company and of me personally and my leadership. I want to say is that anyone who doubts my conviction to be the most welcoming, inclusive workplace doesn't really appreciate how important this is to me. Creativity and inspiration thrives best in best in a safe, welcoming, respectful environment. There is no substitute for that, and staying true to our values without expectations is the best way to retain our talent and to attract the new talent we need to achieve our great potential. As I have made clear, we are moving forward with a new zero tolerance policy for inappropriate behavior, and zero means zero. Any reprehensible conduct is simply unacceptable. We must all, including me, embrace this need for change so we can bring our very best selves to work the very best place to work. Okay, Cog.
Whew.
This is a story,
Yeah, this is the
indeed.
story.
How are we
Well,
feeling? Maybe a rhetorical question, but
yeah.
where are you at with all of this?
Yeah, we've been monitoring from a distance from both of us, right? We've had
Yeah.
it sitting on the docket for a while, and I love what you tend to do, which is kind of let things develop. Let's see what plays out. Let's get more information.
Yeah.
There's a lot of layers here. First thing I would like to shout out is Hogue Law. He's got tremendous videos on this right now. I would highly advise people to go to his channel for the legal aspect of what's going on. I'll just tackle it from the 2 points that I found very interesting. The first thing is obviously everything that we are hearing, really sounds disturbing. It sounds disturbing. You don't like to hear workplace environments of this nature. Salute to a lot of the employees there who are kind of standing on their square and they're doing a walkout and they're like, look, things got to change. Now, as far as the Bobby Kotick thing, like, it's one thing to say, yeah, this didn't happen, and you got to hold me accountable and stuff like that. But until people see serious change, it's hot air. What I do find interesting is when you see a Phil Spencer, you see a Doug Bowser, you see a Jim Ryan getting out of front. That's a lot of corporate pressure and shareholders looking at what's going on. Also internally in each Xbox is building, Sony's building. That's them saying, yo, what's going on over there? Y'all, you guys are still, it's putting pressure on the relationship. Not saying that anything's definitely going to happen, but it's definitely putting pressure on the relationship. Now, I'm not as far to going to say like, oh, this means that they're going to take all the Activision games and Blizzard games down for store. I'm not there yet unless another major shot. But what it is Activision has created such a cesspool of negative energy and news that the other shareholders are like, yo, bro, if you don't get your house in order, we give you the warning shot now. You know what I'm saying? Kind of thing. So I think that's what's going on. But as far as there's one part that is bothering me even more so than obviously the harassment, all that stuff's awful.
Sure.
What one of the latest things that I was just like, wow, this is kind of bad, when the whole Jen O'Neill, Mike Ibarra, that whole thing. Because the reason why that's egregious is this. Activision Blizzard, you are already in the eye of the storm right now. Everybody's watching you right now, right? Mm-hmm. You have this quote unquote toxic environment or perceived toxic environment, right? You then say we're going to make a change and we're going to put Mikey Barra and Jen O'Neill, male, female, co-lead. These are our new leaders, right? Then not even a week or whatever it has been, the female counterpart has left, steps down immediately and says, look, I'm not, nope, they didn't give me equal pay. Like one would think, right? Even if, it's short side. Like even if what is said is true, which was, she did this and Mike had these two responsibilities, but then when they came together, we said we were going to give her a pay. You should have been so on top of that from a female perspective that you let your newly appointed female leader walk because she perceived or didn't feel she got right treatment or equal play. That is a horrible look. There's no dancing around that one.
Yeah.
So now you making me believe, well, maybe everything else they saying about you is true, because that's the last thing you're supposed to do. You're supposed to put a Band-Aid on anything. What you need, Miss O'Neill? What you need? Would you like this? Would you like the yacht? Would you like... Miss O'Neill's supposed to be running things, as far as I'm concerned, based on you got women's sexual harassment. Bro, it's an awful look. So that is a part, and it bothered me, because again, I don't want to disrespect Mike. I know Mike personally. I've met Mike personally. Like, I know him, like E3. I had the Xbox Scorpio chip. I got pictures with me and Mike. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I'm not saying he's responsible, but whoever's in position to make pay equal and y'all didn't handle that, it's horrible look. So that's what I got to say on it. I'm very curious about what you had to say about all this stuff going on, because it gets crazy about a week, bro.
Yeah, right. The reason we held off on this for a little bit is, like Cogs said, we try to let the story develop with these series ones because they're so fast moving when it really picks up like this. And I'm glad we did, because I think with this complete picture, it was a good time to talk about it, because otherwise it was an avalanche. And by the time people heard this, our opinions could have looked awful, because it's like there's not this complete look to some extent. Like, we have the response now, we have what the shareholders said, we have what Phil Spencer and Jim Ryan and Doug Bowser have said. Like, we have a complete look at it all. And I think that's really important to do when we cover very serious topics like this. For me, like, of course the others are egregious, but I'm with you that the most infuriating is, like, you can now see how the rot runs deep, right? Because when you fail to pay Jen O'Neill, like, even if you are sitting there, you are the most sexist fuck alive, and you're like, she's a woman, fuck her, I ain't paying shit. It's like, well, hey, let's just cover our ass right now. Let's pay her, right? Like, that's the thing I don't get is the level of rot that runs deep is so apparent there. It's like, you couldn't even get out of your own way for the most obvious move there. And I find that amazing to me. Like, it's fascinating to watch. And she did the right thing. She was like, I'm out. I'm out. She said her PR written statement of like, yeah, it's going to be great. And you see the leaked internal email of like, I don't got faith in them. I'm out. And so you know what's actually happening behind closed doors, and Activision couldn't even get in front of that. So while I never had faith in Activision, and I take pride in being one of the OG Activision slanderers, right? Look up my videos. I was doing this 6 years ago. I said this company sucked. But I'm happy to see it's being ousted, right? Like I'm happy to see, rather not happy, I should say it's ironic almost to see a company that's so known for, I think, being toxic to game development cycles, like new Call of Duty every year, taking these companies that are doing new, fun, creative things like the Tony Hawk remakes, Crash.
They had a hold of my Destiny for a year. They was lashing Bungie for a while.
Doing damage, moving creatives off of stuff that's fun and new or just nostalgic for Call of Duty, for Warzone. Like everyone's in on this money cow. It reminds me of what happened with Epic, where they moved everyone off of, I'm forgetting the name, not Crucible. It was the third person MOBA. And
I know what you're talking about. Damn it. Yeah, I'm blanking on the name.
Long and forgotten, but it's fine. But they moved off of that to put everyone in Fortnite. Not because the game was doing bad, but because Fortnite was the money cow. So it's ironic to see a company that I think is so toxic in its development be toxic internally. But it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
What bothers me... Oh, sorry, please go on.
No. I completely agree. You go.
I said this on ham radio, and I think what bothers me, and it's not really this novel thought that anyone hasn't had before, but what frustrates me is I'm not of the mindset that everyone has to kiss each other's ass, right? We don't got to love on one another. Certainly there are people I don't like. I'm sure there are people you don't like. We don't all get along, although Twitter will tell you got to be everyone's best friend. I know that shit ain't true. That's impossible. But the level of respect for one another nowadays is so garbage.
Yeah.
To the point where I look at like gender wage gap stuff and I'm like, I don't get this. I just like my brain can't wrap around the idea like she's a woman. Right. I understand if we're going to talk qualifications, we're going to talk work experience, where she's coming from, what her previous pay was. We can talk that stuff. But like when these are two equally qualified individuals coming into the same role, I look at that and go like, man, that's just some old school ass, like 1940s, 50s type thinking.
You got it.
And out with the old, in with the new in a lot of ways, man. They need a big cleaning, but it's just, to me, it sucks to see because, of course, there's, as you said, deeply disturbing things within this, but it's really just the way in general, beyond Activision, that humans treat one another.
Preach it, brother.
That I find greatly upsetting. And again, I try to do my positive thing. Am I kissing everyone's ass in my life to spread positivity? No. But sometimes it helps just to be content and okay with one another. I don't got to be stroking Cog's ego every 2 seconds. Like
human decency.
Exactly. So
I'm with you.
Kind of my general thoughts on it so far.
No, I'm with you. I think you just opened up Pandora's box. What's really going on to me is, I'm of the mindset like sexism, not to get too deep here, but sexism, racism, and all that stuff. It's taught. You know what I'm saying? Like it's passed on, right? You don't come out the womb. Kids don't come out the womb being that way. You know what I'm saying? This is an institutionalized thinking that's continued, right? So if they've had this continued thinking, right, this old school, you got to get the old school dudes out of there because it's that rot, right? Because like you said, that the General Neal situation to me, like that, you literally was supposed, even if you were the most sexist company, whatever, racist company, whatever, you're supposed to fake it at that point. Like, you're so stupid. You ain't even fake it at that point. Like, what is wrong with you, bro? Like, that's crazy. Like, at least I respect the straight up sexist and the straight up racist because they stand on their square. Yo, we ain't paying and you ain't, you know what I'm saying? Like, fine. That's who and you'll probably go down accordingly. But you couldn't even lie when the pressure was on because you're still holding on. And that's the part I was just like, wow, that's crazy. But man, it's crazy. I will say this. Last point, because you made another good point about, I know people that truly hate Activision and for good reason, right? So to me to see this, like, I'll be honest, like, it's very surprising to me if they do fall because, like, gamers have been wanting this day for a minute. Like gamers been like, yo, I can't stand y'all. Y'all always overcharging. Y'all always doing bad practices. Like, and in my mind, I'm like, damn, but they make so much money. They like the evil boss in the game that nobody could defeat. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, will it really ever happen? And then you see like Vanguard this year, right? And you start to see the slippage, and you're like, yo.
Now you see their big games, Diablo, Overwatch 2, man.
Oh, like this, you're finally seeing like, you know, like an empire, this evil empire that dominated. You're seeing the chinks and you're like, yo, this joint might be crumbling, fam. So it is interesting to watch from that standpoint, because part of me, the sad part is I always felt, well, greed and corporate greed is going to win out. And people are going to talk and nothing's going to happen. But if this thing does go down, these are the moments that we look back and we go, wow, this was the fall of Activision Blizzard. So
yeah, it's very apparent with Bobby Kotick that he surrounds himself with people who owe him something, maybe, or
speaking of which, did you see that list, fam?
You
saw that list?
Which one?
With the Epstein list?
Yeah.
Your man name in the black book.
Yep.
And Epstein, not to get too, you know, conspiracy theory here, but you know, apparently they say that man knew too much. A lot of people was in that book, and I was shocked. I saw Bobby's name in there. I'm like, oh, yeah. It's this thing. The rabbit hole goes deeper. It seems, and we just got to see how this thing plays out. But
it's gonna be ugly.
It's gonna be ugly. This does not look to have a rosy entry. But I highly advise, from a legal standpoint, please get over to our man Hogue Law's channel, man. He's killing it with the content, and we got to chart this thing. This is something before our eyes that we're watching in real time.
Yeah, because I just look at like him saving Dan Bunting, and it's that intervention. It's like, you owe me now, and I think of like the board of directors standing by him clearly when he's created like an incapable environment to work in, and it shows two things. Number one, that he's got a lot of power, but number two is that, you know, Dustin and I talked about this a lot when this really first began, because the question we got was like, should I buy Activision games? And at the time, the answer was like, you shouldn't hurt the devs because of one asshole.
Right.
It sucks. It's horrible. But we need to, you know, if you want to spend that money, you're okay. Now it's a totally different situation, I think, at least. And it shows that, really, to me, how much money Bobby has made them and why he kept his job for so long. Because, I mean, their obligation to the shareholders is to make money, and Activision makes a lot.
Yeah, so, absolutely. Yeah, man.
Yeah, dude, it's
said.
Greatly disappointing, and like we both said, I don't think it's going to end in a pretty manner. But
every week we get more and more. Yeah, every week. Yep, I'm with you. Every week we get a little bit more information. You're just like, wow, this gets deeper and deeper. But yeah, good topic. Good to monitor. We will continue seeing what goes on.
Absolutely. Move on to a brighter topic. Number 4, the horribly kept secret known as MultiVersus has been announced. This is the latest in the platform fighter race, and it is featuring Shaggy, Bugs Bunny, Batman, Superman, Harley Quinn, Steven Universe, Tom and Jerry, Wonder Woman, and Arya Stark, plus more to be announced. Rather than embracing the one-on-one nature of Smash games, MultiVersus is 2v2. Even more interesting is the notion that this game is free to play. With no set date, MultiVersus arrives in 2022 on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC with cross-play support and dedicated servers. Okay. Cog?
Yeah, you made me look this one up. I was like, okay, pleasantly surprised. I was like, this is a baddie game, but I was like, I'm feeling this. I like the idea, and I feel like, you know what, WB is really good suited for this, you know what I mean, as far as the character. Now, I will say this. I do like the art style. Looks fun. You know, you want that Smash level environment kind of stuff. They're taking it very seriously. My only nitpick, because I love what they're trying to do, I just feel the roster as it stands right now is not fleshed out enough. I want more. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love Batman.
Especially in 2v2, right? Like, you're going to see that roster quick. You're
gonna feel it, especially doing it too. So yeah, I'm with you, but I saw you, Shaggy.
I'm there, baby. I'm there. I made the game. I made the cut.
I saw you, Shaggy. I saw the different suits he had on. I was like, This is what's up. I
Yeah.
love the Batman and Superman editions. Wonder Woman, I think, was in there. Harley Quinn, I believe. It looked fun. I ain't going for it. Whatever they was doing, it looked fun. I'm curious to see how the actual, mechanics are going to be. But they look like they're in it for the long haul to support it. So, what do you think? Because you're like the Smash / PlayStation All Stars / like this is like a Matty game to me.
Oh, dude, I love seeing more of these, right? Nick All-Stars was great. It was like a melee level fighter. It really felt fast and fluid. This looks more personality driven. The reason I say that is because gameplay looked a little slow. Looked a little sluggish.
It did.
And I'm not crazy about that. Of course, it's got time to be cleaned up, fine-tuned. What I liked, though, was seeing in the 2v2 environment, like Batman had his back grapple and like someone was falling off the stage and he like shot at his teammate, pulled him back up. That was pretty cool. And I thought, that's going to lead, again, I've become very big. I think Halo Infinite opened my eyes to something that I always loved in a lot of multiplayer games. It's that emergent gameplay, like these mechanics that can just do whatever and they they tell their own story when they happen. Yes. And I feel like you could maybe have that with moments like that in MultiVersus. And that's what Smash is all about, right? Like the tournaments you put together with your friends, the crazy combos, how like you both had 100+% health and you bounced off each other and one of you rang out first. Like those types of stories being told are what make these games click. So I feel like I like that they're thinking outside the box, not saying let's Smash clone it. Like let's do 2v2 instead. I would say less Smash and more Brawlhalla is what I was thinking of looking at this game.
Okay.
But what was awesome to see, I want to know your thoughts, is the voice talent that they got for this game. Matthew Lillard as Shaggy. My man, bro. Hey. That's my doppelganger right there. And then we got Kevin Conroy as Batman. I mean, what did you think about that? I loved what they were getting.
I love when games do that. When games pull out the stops on voice talent, automatically rises the stock for me. Like, especially like you know what this reminds me of? Like, I'm a big G1 Transformers guy, right? So in my mind, there's nobody that better play Optimus Prime except Peter Cullen. I better hear that stoic Autobots roll out. Like I want to hear that voice. And then the same way I am with Megatron, there's no one that should be Megatron except Frank Welker. So when I hear the iconic voices and they're spending the money on the talent, or at least even if it's not the originals, right? But you get a guy that respects the heritage and the sound of the character and gives you like a very similar like performance from the era, you got me. Because that to me, you're doing complete fan service. You're respecting the characters. You're respecting, and I did see that here. And I'm like, okay, they are taking these properties seriously. And you always want that. That means the devs got a love and an affection for it, and they're willing to go the extra mile to kind of bring those resources in. I love that stuff.
Yeah, it just worries me because I saw when Jeff Grubb had reported this that, they're thinking about doing free to play. Yeah. They don't know yet. And I'm like, man, please let me pay for this. Please, because like it's a fighting game, man. Like, just let me pay for it.
It's anti-free to play. We gotta even dive into that. You've been giving me this vibe now for me. You said it all.
I know. Let's
go. What's this about?
It sounds so good at first. Like I can just download it, but man, there always is a caveat. There's a catch. There's no free to play game that I can think of outside of the most popular ones. Like I think of League of Legends, where I can just sign up, plays really well. There's no bullshit involved. It's just the game. And if I want a collection of cosmetics, I can spend my money. But I just don't trust these companies to give me rewarding progression. Like they're going to put me somewhere where it's like, I get it. Like not everyone
puts you in position.
But like, just let me spend 20 and call it a day.
Okay, I know what this is now. Yeah. Okay, now let me ask you this, because I want to dive deeper. I find this very funny, your dilemma here. Do you play like mobile games in that ilk sometimes? There's any mobile games that I've ever caught you?
I played Marvel Strike Force or Strike.
Okay.
Like I played that for some time actually. My friend got me into that, and again, it was that like I played Galaxy of Heroes,
Yes. Okay.
That just limited like I feel like I'm chained, man. I want to be unchained when I'm playing these games. Like
I got you. Okay.
Halo Infinite obviously is working out all right, but I am of the mindset if I could have avoided the battle pass headache and all that shit, like I would have paid. I would have had it come in the $60 package. Like if they made better decisions on that front, and I get that would have hurt the player base, but in a lot of ways, it's like, that's not my problem. I want the best game. Like, I don't care what's convenient for the company.
Gotcha. You feel like they're nickel and diming you, and all this could have been given to me up front.
Yeah.
As far as like the cosmetics and maybe certain things,
as
aspects of it.
Unlockables, all that stuff.
Okay.
And I just, I could go on, but I just look at it.
No, I want to hear this. I need this answer.
Yeah. I just view it as the model itself is really good and it's really appealing, but because the company's saying we're giving it to you for free, their mindset is like, okay, in our eyes, we would have sold this for 20. How do you get, because they don't know the price, how do we get 60 out of them?
Right.
And that's the mindset you see throughout all these games is like, how do we encourage them to get there? Do we make nice cosmetics? Do we make a pretty cheap battle pass? Like, what do we do to milk them a little bit here? Mm-hmm. And I get it because there are paid games. Like I think of Fallout 76, you pay to get in. And once you get in, there is Fallout First, which has all of its like best new mechanics hidden behind that stupid ass subscription service. And there's the Atomic Shop. It's fucking horrendous. Like there are games that are still egregious, even though they're paid for, but I'd like to roll the dice with that a little bit more.
Respectfully. I got you now. I got you. I'm learning.
Yeah. Not a take everyone will agree with, and I totally respect that. I get why people like free to play, but I don't trust it anymore. I don't.
Yeah. No, you're making valid points, and we can't act like there's not illusion here. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, there's certain aspects that's free to play. And then there's, if you really put the bean counters in place and you really start looking at how much everything in a store would cost if you literally bought it and, all this other stuff, it really then, it actually gets more egregious sometimes, most of the time, than if you would have just bought the game, right? Kind of thing. So I think it's a way they figured out how to get even more money out of us. I would agree.
It's just a slight twisting of the arm, man. Like, that's all it really is. I think of even probably my favorite free-to-play game. I think of SWOTOR, right? Okay. Which has a subscription, but they start to give you less XP. You can't sprint to level 10. Like there's these little things that just hamper you along the way where you're like, man, this is just annoying. I would have loved to pay 60 and just had this game as is, but instead I got to pay the recurrent subscription. And I get it. It's a business model on top of a game.
Right.
So I'm not arguing its existence, but more so just like, it's always a little bit of like putting you into a light submission hold. And the second that they got you in that, right? They got you on your back. They're like, all right, we're just going to tighten this.
I believe we got him.
Yeah.
I got you.
And I'm out.
Fair enough.
Thank you for asking, though. Happy to talk about that.
Stuff. Absolutely.
Number 5, last item on the news report. Phil Spencer collected some major W's this week when speaking on both game emulation and NFTs, aka non-fungible tokens. For game emulation, let's start there. Quote, my hope, and I think we have to present it that way as of now, is as an industry, we'd work on legal emulation that allowed modern hardware to run any, within reason, older executable, allowing someone to play any game. Anybody should be able to buy any game or own any game and continue to play, end quote. As for NFTs, he says, quote, what I'd say today on NFT, all up, is I think there's a lot of speculation and experimentation that's happening, and that some of the creative I see today feels more exploitive than about entertainment, which, funny enough, EA and Ubisoft have been, what platform hasn't Ubisoft been about? Have you ever thought of that? Like they fucking love everything.
Everybody. Yeah.
But these two have been saying that's the future of the industry. So that was relieving to see. What do you think about Phil's comments on both game emulation and NFTs?
Yeah, it was interesting. The NFT, I was like, okay, they're making a stand there. Like they're like, no, we don't see that as something that we kind of want to do that we feel is exploitative. Respect, I always like to get the transparency on where a company is with that. So that's very respectful. Emulation was interesting because we had Jason on as well. And I know with the PC community, they just made an update where I think the Xbox Insider PC and to allow, mods and letting the system files where you save things and where things be altered. Because previously, in the old model with Windows 10 and UWP, they didn't allow that stuff. And PC gamers do not like that, right? So I was thinking about that aspect, and then I'm thinking about now with the emulation thing. And yeah, they seem open. right? They seem like they're willing to play nice and kind of thing. So I say all that to say this is that there are a lot of gamers who will never come to console, right? Or never, it's not in the cards for them. It don't matter what you do. It don't matter how great the Series X is. They want to play it on their bomb PC with a 3090 and do everything they want to do to the game. So to me, it fits on brand with what we talked about, that diverse model that they're shooting for, which is the Game Pass, retail, cloud, PC. Like, they're like, yo, wherever you at, we at. You know what I'm saying? So this is on brand as far as I'm concerned, right? And you don't want to isolate this huge group because you're clearly trying to appease this group. Game Pass day and date on console and PC. This on PC. Halo, people don't realize Halo Infinite on Steam, launching on Steam multiplayer is a huge deal. Like, this is a community that definitely most likely is never going to go. I know PC guys, Steven. They know, they get so angry when a game is exclusive to an Epic store. Mm-hmm. Do you think they're going to download your little Game Pass launcher? Like, people get all emotional about a launcher.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's PC. So to see that go over there, big deal. And I say all that to say that this makes sense. This makes sense. I could totally understand that. And I think they're doing a good job of getting that community on board. And, hey, Microsoft's playing nice. And, hey, you know what? Xbox will rock with you on PC this generation. Yeah. And I'm seeing it. I'm playing with my PC brethren on Steam, on Halo Infinite, seamless. And the results are paying off.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think there's less to be said about NFTs in the sense that I agree with Phil. And I think it's good to see him taking a stand there because it doesn't, to me, I was reading an article on Forbes and they were mentioning how it's not like the mobile market where you almost had a void that's being filled and some are anticipating like this is the next mobile. But I feel like there's nothing for the consumer on an NFT, at least in my eyes. I don't get it. I don't get it. But as for game emulation, I almost feel like this is kind of talking to the likes of, I'd say Nintendo, right? Nintendo had Virtual Console, which was, I think, the head of the pack, man. You just fire that bad boy up, go through your list, pick a Game Boy game, Game Boy Advance, GameCube.
So good.
All there for a good price. You pay, it's emulating it. It's great. And then they do now Nintendo Online because I don't get it. Again, like I've been saying that a lot this episode, but just these companies fucking baffle me because I guarantee you they would be making way more money with Virtual Console.
Oh, for sure.
And if you had a subscription within Virtual Console that maybe gave you different perks or something like that. But they just do this obscure off the pack move that I don't get. And it blows my mind. We saw them clearly test emulation with Mario 3D All-Stars, so that the shout out to Nintendo fans. We were all beta testers out there. as
beta
King,
boys.
Yeah, I was going to say, as King would say, the beta boys, right?
The beta boys.
And I'm just happy to see that Xbox is hoping we can get on a path where, like, yeah, it's legal. Like, we should be able to buy these old games and play them, which is funny because with, say, back compat on Xbox, this does run through an emulation effectively, and the disc is an activation key, right?
Correct.
And I was thinking to myself, well, it's funny Phil is saying this because as far as we know, they've shut down back compat now.
Yes, that is true.
What the fuck is he talking about? You know, like, what more are you doing, Phil, is what I have to ask in turn.
Yeah. No, fair enough. Yeah, we got the confirmation. No new games will be added to the back compat. They have reached their limit as far as what they're going to do. Now, as far as FPS boost, that will continue. You know what I'm saying? And for newer games and older games, provided there are no the vibe I got is the games that we want. You know, for example, I'm always on them about Rise. Like, I'm like, where's my Rise? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And the vibe I got between that and a bunch of
on your timeline about that game. I was like, man, I gotta replay that. Yeah,
bro, that clip had me hype. I was like, yo, I gotta replay. That's how much I missed that game. Yeah. So I know what clip you talking about. I know he said, brothers, and they getting off the ship.
Yeah,
oh my, Oh
Fight!
man, yeah, you see the thing. Oh, it's crazy. I love that game.
Yeah.
But yeah. So what a vibe I got is a lot of this stuff is technical. There are times where they can get 80 to 90% of the game working right, and then they'll get a game breaking bug in the code because can't recognize that it's really not supposed to be running this fast or whatever. And that one part they can't bring it out. You know what I'm saying, kind of thing. So that's the part that's a little disheartening. You can't get around it. And I guess the resources to probably talk to the developer and all that is probably it's too late in the game at this point. But yeah, that's the vibe I'm getting. But yeah, we got to see what this emulation stuff where they what the hell they talk about there, and it is interesting to see them talk about it though.
I agree. So we'll see where all of that leads, but illuminating quotes from Phil Spencer, and that concludes our shortest news roundup of our little show's lifespan here. So congrats on being a part of it.
Yes.
Now we move on to our Game Pass / Back and Pat pick of the week. I handled it this week, and I chose Fable Anniversary.
Ooh, let's go.
Now I didn't remember if I had picked this one in the past before or not, but I wanted to make the choice on one that I really felt strongly about. So as we play through Forza Horizon 5, it really got me thinking about Fable. Then for Retro Rebound, I made a video about Fable: The Lost Chapters. Just kind of, I do retrospective videos there at times, hence the name Retro Rebound. X years later, and I just talk about games. I open them up on the channel. I show like what it came with when you bought it to remind people of like what it was like to pull the game off the shelf on launch day, all that cool stuff, right? And so we've done Golden Sun. Fable: The Lost Chapters is next. Fable Anniversary is a remaster of that, and Fable Anniversary just got FPS boost. So I thought the stars aligned where I said, let me do a video of that on Retro Rebound. And when I did it, I planned on just playing through it a little bit. That was it. But I'm hooked now. And I think 2022 will be the year I re-review each Fable game. Kind of like, I've been enjoying this going through, like Game Pass just unlocks those opportunities, man. Like I have it physically, it's on my shelf, but Game Pass just unlocks those opportunities where I think of games that I want to do retrospective reviews on. I love doing those. Going back and
you're good at that. I love that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's just one of my favorite things to do. Like just going back, replaying, and be like, how does this stand up to what we have now? So going to a 2005 game that has been through a lot, right? You think of Fable 3, and I think there's been a lot of hate thrown in the direction of Fable. But I'm glad to see, mostly when I talk about it, there's a lot of love and fond memories of this game. I'm here to confirm that.
Okay.
Fable Anniversary is excellent. Now, I should say Fable is excellent. Fable Anniversary, it chugs at times. It's just not a well-optimized game. And that was, I remember when the reviews came out, I was very excited for it. I saw them. I stayed away because I think it got like 7s or something like that, if I remember correctly, because it did not perform that well technically. And even with FPS boost, sometimes you're coasting along and then like you'll get to Oakvale and it's like, it just drops. It's like a car just puttering along. You're like, this shit's breaking down. So that's what was happening here with Fable Anniversary, but it is still a great game. I call it Cog Baby's first RPG, right? Like I think Pokemon's one of those, but I think Fable is one that is never put on that list, and it should be. You can hand a little kid this game and they get it. But if you hand it to me, who I'd say is experienced, I'm a young adult, there's enough depth there to really sink your teeth into. So it's as simple as like good and evil, right? That's what Fable's all about. It's your story. You're the hero. You're working for this guild after your village was massacred by these bandits. And so you can choose to go the villainous route, really take your anger out on the world, or you can go the heroic route and people view you as God himself.
Yes.
What I love about this game, Cog, is the visual representation of what your character is. So as you go evil, you'll get horns. But what I remembered last night when playing, dude, I've been investing in my spells, right? That's my main track right now is I'm getting lightning, fireball, I'm getting assassin's dash, all these different spells. I finish upgrading them, I pop out. My character's got like these face tattoos, body tattoos, because he's a will user now. And like that, I love that shit, man. Like just a reflection of what my character is.
And not only that through what you wear, but the world responds. So let's say I've been going full evil, man. Like I've been killing people. I'm hurting traders. Give me your stuff, right? Is when you go by people, they like thumbs you down, they boo you, they don't like you. It's just it's so simplistic in its design, like very much good or evil. There's no nuance, there's no gray areas, but it just manages to capture me in this high fantasy world. Mm-hmm. I really loved going back to it. So we're about 5 hours into it now. I'm definitely going to finish it up. I'll probably do a re-review of it next year with some of the notes I take for it, but I really recommend people go back to this because, we're probably going to start to see Fable by, I'd say, E3 next year.
Yeah.
And I've learned my lesson with Pillars of Eternity, right? I waited. I'll play it when it gets closer, right? And Pillars will still happen. Mm-hmm. But I learned that it's get ahead of the game. Make your replay sessions happen nice and early, so you don't gotta crunch it because you don't
crunch. Yeah,
right. So like that's what I'm doing. I did that with Halo in a nice dead time. I played through all the campaigns. Granted, it wasn't super ahead of time, but I'm doing that with Fable. So we're gonna get the boys together for co-op in 2 and 3. It's gonna be a good time. But do you have? I just want to ask you. You play a lot of Fable? I know Addict is big on Fable.
Addict is bigger than me. Like I was a casual Fable guy, but I played it. It was a big deal. It was a big deal. Literally everything you said, because I remember, just doing what I wanted to do, kicking chickens.
Yeah, chicken chaser.
Kicking chaser. Exactly. You know what I mean? That, and then just remembering like how whatever you did, the long-term ramifications of your character, and then how they react to you, right? Mm-hmm. And like I who I got to give a lot of credit though, even though he gets bombed a lot. I just thought it's funny. Who used to? Peter Molyneux used to sell this game, boy.
Yeah.
Remember when Peter Molyneux used to come out?
Yeah, man.
You can.
Yeah, he fucking wrecked this series, bro. But he also brought it to new heights. It's weird.
Yeah, he brought it to new heights. He was like the gift and the curse to the game because the way he sold the game, you were like, "Oh my god, this is the most amazing game I've ever heard in my life. I need to play this game," right? Yeah. And then he would just go too far with certain things, right? Yeah. But it was the loop, and I remember there was like correct me if I'm wrong, which one it was. There was a one where you could take people like and sacrifice them.
That's Fable 1. I was doing that last night. Yeah, you can hire mercenaries. I went to a chapel and they're like, "We're looking for donations," right? And I'm like, "Oh, okay." I look it up because like I like that the game doesn't tell you what to do. Sometimes it's a little too vague. This is one of those times, but most times it's like figuring out creative ways to sell these riddles. I'm like, okay, I know I need to bring someone here. Like, do I marry someone and then bring them there? Like, who do I bring? And people are like, "You just hire mercenaries." So I hire him, I bring him there. This guy floats into the fire and he's like, "Oh my god." It's just, you can just donate people to this chapel.
Literally sacrificing people in the chapel.
Well, I get hyped when I see any mercenaries. So I'm like, "Come with me."
Come with me. Yeah. Bro, it's just wild the things you can do. And then I gotta shout out Kings. We had this discussion at OLP about Fables. I think me and Addict lean Fable 1. Addict definitely is Fable 1, right?
Right.
And King's like, Fable 2 is the GOAT. So we like, why? Why you like Fable 2 so much more? You know what I'm saying? So he goes, it was the only one that allowed him to have multiple wives all over the place. And I'm like, King. He's like, yeah, I was living my best life. And he's like, so this one would get mad and doing this with the kids. And I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. Like he was like being fruitful, subduing the earth and planting his seed everywhere. And I'm like, oh my God. I was like, King, he made his own game with Fable 2. Yeah. This man is a savage.
Yeah, no, dude. I remember making a fun touch for Fable 2 on my channel. It's not available anymore because I was very immature in the video. But dude, I was marrying people up and I was having a good old time. Yeah, man, it's a really fun game. Just gifting people. I was like, who can I bang?
I gotta fire it up just for fun, man. Yeah. It was a moment. It was definitely a moment, man.
There's like a level of depth there. Like, I'm pretty sure in Fable 2, if you don't use a condom, you can get an STD. And I know condoms are or I think maybe you have a kid if you don't use it. Yeah, there's like something there where you actually have to go buy the condom. I'm like, that's
this game is wild.
Yeah, I remember seeing that and I was like, how old was I? I was like 16. It's like, what the fuck is this? People are celebrating Cyberpunk for showing your balls in the game. I'm just like, dude, who cares? Fable was doing it back then.
Exactly. Shout out to Fable for pushing barriers.
Yeah, absolutely.
No doubt.
Anyway, that's my Game Pass pick of the week. Highly recommend giving it a
Nice.
download. Fable Anniversary, not too long either, like 10,
Mhm.
15 hours, depending on how much side content you do, how many times you replay it, but worth the run through, I think.
Mhm.
All right. 5 questions to wrap this show up. Let's begin with Wilhan. Hey, Matty and Cog. I hope you two are having a great day. So, I've been seeing all this hype for Halo Infinite, and I have to be honest, I'm kind of buying into it. As a primary
Ooh.
PlayStation guy, do you think it's worth it to pick up a Series S or X just to be able to play Halo? I've been contemplating it, but I'm not sure. Thanks for the great content, guys, and defining that Duke. Now, normally, I got to be totally transparent with the audience. I'm not saying this to be dismissive. We get this question about do I buy the console or not
Ooh.
every week, right?
Really?
We get it every
Okay.
week, and we've answered it a lot. Like me and Carrick
Okay.
used to do it like every couple of weeks. We like refresh, and I was like, okay, let's just stop, right? Because
Mhm.
we're obviously going to tell you to buy the console, but
Right.
at that time there was nothing really compelling. Now we have, I think, enough space where we can talk about is it worth buying the console Halo or not. And especially with this week being Black Friday and the holidays, people are starting to spend, looking into making their lists. Do
Mhm.
you add the Series X or S to that list? Cog, I'd like to start with you, of
Mhm.
course, and where you're at. Is the time now to purchase?
Yeah. Yeah, this is it. This is it. It's fun. It's fun that this question came. Shout out to Will because I remember. I'm gonna take it back for us in person. Last Stand Media event. We're at the park. We're meeting so many of the fans. Everyone's coming up, and I would get like, "Hey, man, I'm a PlayStation guy, but I'm just listening to y'all and I like y'all, and I'm thinking about pulling the trigger." And I would be like, "Okay, what is it that would push you over? What was it?" Some people like, "Yo, the Bethesda one, yo, that was big. I gotta get those games, kind of thing." And now what I'm seeing is I'm seeing a lot of my PlayStation brothers hit me and they're like, "Yo, that Forza, okay, that's looking fun." And this Halo is it's a wave, bro. It's a wave. For Xbox guys, this is what I remember when Halo was at its hey, right?
Yeah.
It's that kind of feel. But
Yeah.
you're like, yo, it is back. I will say to Will's question, he said he's worth picking up on the Series S or Series X. I will say this, pleasantly, because I got the X in the living room, S in the bedroom. And prior to us doing Ultimate, I was like, because sometimes with the S, mostly I use my S and it's more of a multimedia device. I don't game as much in the bedroom, right? But I was like, I'm trying to stick in a couple of Halo matches because I wanted to see how it looked. I was like, let me see how it. Bro, I didn't notice much of a drop off. I was like, yo, this is very impressive. I played Flight Simulator on the S, extremely impressive. I'm to the point where I'm like, I'm not noticing much of a drop off besides, okay, yeah, the storage is smaller and yeah, no physical discs.
Right.
But I'm like, this is more than sufficient to rock out. So anyone that's looking to say, you know what, I'm not trying to break the bank. And let's be honest, the X is very hard to find sometimes.
Yep.
It's the harder one to find. The S is a little bit more readily available. Then, Matty, you and I both know one of the best portable things to travel with and hotel jailbreak with. And, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Shout out to Matty, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, look, it's a great time right now. Halo is definitely worth it. It's one of the best experiences. Listen to that Ultimate we just did with Chris Reagan. I would say, yeah, now's the time. Get on now, and you got that Game Pass, and you're ready to rock. And you got good games to catch up and play. Like a lot of great stuff at this point.
Yeah.
Psychonauts is there.
Yeah.
Said 12 minutes. All this stuff that we've been talking about it's there. Go rock out.
Yeah, obviously we run an Xbox podcast, so this won't come across as surprising, but I definitely, especially last generation, I mean, how couldn't you? I gamed on PlayStation primarily. And, I look at this generation very similar to my 360, where it was like third party, I'm there. First party, I'm there. It's because of Game Pass. A Game Pass, I know we talk about it a lot. And so when I say it's under discussed, it's not really the sense of like, of course we talk about the value and the games, but it's really under discussed the feeling you get when you open the library and the amount of experiences that you can pick from. Me and my friends were like looking for a co-op game, right? Well, actually not me, friends, a friend. We're looking for a co-op game. And we start scrolling through, we find Perfect Dark Zero, we find Fable 2, we download Fable 3, and we download Shadow Warrior 2, just through a quick scroll. And having that ability to be like, I'm in the mood for something, and then just picking the library apart, having it all there, is
bro.
a really, really undersold feeling. Like, of course, the
Yeah,
game quantity is there, but the feeling of actually addressing your need is what I
bro.
don't think we get into enough. And it's worth the console alone because even last year, we buy these consoles day one. I remember I bought my Xbox Series X. I took the pre-order from Dustin. He's like, I got it. Like, do you want it? We were discussing this show, and at first, honestly, I was like, I don't know. Like, they don't have games. But then I was like, you know
Right.
what? For the show, let me just have it. I beat Demon Souls Remake, dude. I was on my Xbox ever since. Like,
Yeah,
Game Pass is worth the console alone. It just
absolutely.
is a huge difference maker to me, just
Yeah,
because of the access I had to so many titles, and it's only grown exponentially since then. Right? There's a reason we
yeah.
have a whole segment based around it.
Absolutely. And I want to shout out he's a Destiny content creator, a good friend of mine. His name's Wilhelm Screen, good friend,
Mm,
great content creator. He plays primarily on PC and I remember when Destiny came out on Game Pass and I'm like, yo, Scream, no disrespect. We ain't on PC. The home is going to be over here for the
mhm,
free 99. Or,
mhm.
you know what I'm saying? And because there's going to be more people that we're going to get a chance to play with, right? And he's like, all right, cool. So he gets the S with the intention of just doing that. He's going to play primarily on PC, but just to rock with us so we don't lose track, right? This is before crossplay was implemented. So it's just like, all right. And we did tell him crossplay is going to come, whatever. So he gets in. So he's like, "Yo, should I get the Game Pass thing?" So I'm like, "Yo, you should check it out because you get to be online for free, and then you'd be surprised." He's like, "Bro, Halo's on there. I used to
Mhm.
be a hardcore Halo back in the OG." I'm like, "Bro,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, get that Game Pass, it's over for you." So he gets that, and
It's
now
dangerous.
he's
Sometimes I don't open it.
yeah, bro, it's dangerous. Like he is now like, oh my god, like I'm so like and he doesn't miss the moments of any big game that comes out. He's right there. He doesn't
Mhm.
feel like has to play anything. And then
Yeah.
he found out he was a big F1 guy. He's like, yo, the F1 series. Oh my god, Cog, you don't know what you just did. It's over. Like I'm about to
Mhm.
play all these beloved games. I can't believe this. That's what's going on right now. And I see those type of stories. So yeah, to your point, Game Pass itself is worth the price of admission based on the discoverability and things you find out. You're like, wow, these are really cool experiences that now it's just part of my ecosystem.
Absolutely. And Halo just adds to it. Forza adds to it. Psychonauts 2, I think, absolutely adds to it. So
Mm-hmm.
just know that you've got with Xbox, you don't really you have past, present, future in the sense of back compat, but I feel like right now for Xbox, it's really present and future. Like they're just kind of
Yeah.
getting started now. I think it's a good time to invest. We're only going to see more. You already can mark your calendar with a couple of games, and that would be Stalker, Redfall, and Starfield. And obviously,
Yes.
more stuff will fill that out. That'll be
Oh yeah.
announced.
Oh yeah.
Let's move on to Andrew's question. Hey, Cog and Maddie. The question is short and sweet. How would you improve achievements? The question is inspired by Jason Ronald's appearance on ILP. My personal beef with achievements is the progress tracker doesn't work for every game. I've had quite a few games where achievements have bugged out on me, and I've had to replay large portions of the game to get it, or I just quit completely and moved on. Might not be a big issue, but it's annoying. Now, I wanted to put this one in here more so to give you an opportunity to speak more on your conversation with Jason Ronald, but
Yeah.
I also just want to throw out there that a lot of people know my actual answer with platinums and stuff, but I learned something new last night when I
Oh,
was
what's
scrolling
that?
through that Halo achievement list. I was like, I like vertical lists, but I like PlayStation's vertical lists. Xbox is like tucked to the left.
To the
Like,
left. Yeah.
I don't like that, man.
Yeah.
I don't like it. They got to rework that thing, man. Like one-to-one PlayStation's menus. They're when they were horizontal, it was an even race. It was the race of the bad, right? But well, like now PlayStation went back to basics. They're like, yep, we hear you. And they did the right thing there. It's now vertical, full details on screen. But like with Xbox, I'm just like, I don't even, I know it sounds extra, but I genuinely mean it. I'm like, I don't even want to go for some achievements because I'm like, going in between the menus and reading them is just such a pain in my ass. But I want to open up this door really for you and what you want to see
Yeah.
improve. And especially
Mhm.
based off your recent conversation where you have more
Yeah.
insight. So you may have a different angle on this.
Yeah. Yeah. This is definitely, one of those things that I wanted the community to know that they need improvement. Like they truly do. And again, they started the space with achievement, but PlayStation, in my opinion, has lapped them there. And people want that credit. To Andrew's point about, how would I improve it? I like two little things. One for me, obviously, we definitely want to play the platinum equivalent, and we want the organization and the UI. I'm with you there. I'm going to go a step further. I think I've mentioned this in the past before that achievements, there are some achievements that as gamers we weigh higher than others, right? Like you yourself, when you were going through the trophy thing for the Vita game and you had to go unlock, you remember you went through all this stuff just
story to transcend Last Stand media history.
Yes, bro, you broke the mold with that one. Right? That was serious. And I was like, you know what? I respect that because that last one was eating at his soul.
Yep.
And he had to have it, right? Yep. So for me, there's moments like that, and then there's moments that those games that you pride, you like, I did every single thing there, or this particular one, ain't nobody, few people got this one. You know that person's hardcore. If he got that achievement, like those type of moments. So what I want is they had it at one point, I would say in the beginning of the Xbox One UI. And it was called achievement art because I feel like the art for these games that so if you look at some of these games that Xbox has, achievement art is beautiful some of the time. You're like, oh, wow, this looks really cool. The achievement itself with the art with it. They literally have a team that made that. So what I want is in my profile, how they used to have it, Matty, it was called Achievement Showcase. So you go to your profile and whatever you list as your top 5 achievements, and it would have the art with it. And I was like, yeah, like it was just such a show. Like, you know, for people that play Gears of War, there's an achievement that's really, it's like well known. It's called Seriously. Like, that means you played the hell out of Gears. Like you killed like 1 million people. Like it's insane to get that achievement, right? Okay. So a dude that got that needs to flex.
Yeah.
Because he's not a normal, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
he's not just your average player.
There's levels to this. Like, again, Randall Thor, the man with the million, right? 1 million achievement. That's his claim to fame. Like, Xbox recognized him. He was one of the first to have 1 million achievement. There's got to be achievements to him that are like, yo, bro, you ain't got this, right? You know what I'm saying? And it's a flex. So I want them to kind of lean into that. And the last thing I'll say, and this is a little biased because, yes, I'm a little bit of a Destiny live service guy. But I do feel I don't want to shame people. There's certain people who just, let's be honest, they just love their Call of Duties, right? They love their whatever, right? And they live in this game every year. And I remember when Mikey Barra used to be at Xbox, he had talked about that. They had talked about a system where they want to showcase like, yo, you're a master or a connoisseur of this game. And whether it be some type of trophy or some type of acknowledgement based on your play time and your play hours, they were talking about reflecting that inside the achievement UI. And I think gamers need that because I don't like this talk. Well, you know, there's a lot of achievement score checking right now. People are, well, Manny, this person can't talk because they're scoring. Listen, there's some people who live in certain games. So is that person less of a gamer? Because you know what I mean? And I see a lot of this achievement shaming going on, you know, for certain people. And I'm just like, we got to relax. But I would love those guys to get something that showcase like, yo, I plays this Destiny, fam. I plays this Halo. Look at these hours and then that representation of it. But what about you as far as, you know, anything else? I know you don't like the thing, but anything else that Xbox could do to get you excited?
I would like to see games kind of messing with the cap a little bit more. I think that falls on a developer end. Like, I think we always hit 50. I think it'd be cool to see like some games push above that. Like, I think of a game like Oblivion. I know that's a really old one, but Oblivion has a 50 achievement list that could easily be like 80. You know, right? The 50 achievements there are some of the easiest 1,000 gamer score you can get in an open world RPG. Really just play this storyline, play this storyline, play this storyline. Like, it just very easy. Hit this level, hit this level, hit this level. That's fine. But I would love to see not having a cap effectively. And maybe there's not a cap, but of course, when we see PlayStation do this, like they add to that trophy percentage when DLC comes out. But I'm just saying, like, I'd like to see some games launch with like 62, some launch with like 41. I mean, obviously we see them go below the cap, but it's very rarely, unless without DLC, we see them go above. I want to see them go above. I think that'd be fun because, like, it just, to me, I view them as challenges. Like, that's all I view them as challenges. I think of like Shadow of Mordor. Like, I remember going for the platinum for that. I was just doing things I never would do and just seeing what the game's all about. And so more of those to me is like more things to discover in the game. There, you know, I try to experiment and mess around with games, but sometimes I don't know about things until I read the achievement list and they've told me about it. And I think that's good for players like me, where I think of I think of Breath of the Wild as another example where I know this isn't like achievements and trophies, but
let's go.
I think of my girlfriend who put like 100 hours into it. I put like 50. I remember when I put 50 and I'm like, confidence, chest out. I've done all of the main content here. I've seen enough. Most of the side stuff's done. Wipe my hands of it.
Right.
Girlfriend doubles my hour count and I'm watching her play. I'm like, I didn't know that was there. I didn't know. Yeah. That you're getting hit with that. So I'm like, wait, you find a new appreciation for it. So I feel like you'll miss stuff, even if you're confident you hit it all. And I feel like achievements have an opportunity to highlight that. So I'd like to see that cap. Sorry, I didn't mean to hit the mic there. I'd like to see the cap expanded a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I think the only thing that they're going to encounter is that they want that equity across the board, game to game, 1,000. And that 1,000 or whatever. But I do miss when I feel that there's times when I'm definitely with you because I feel there's times that games put out extra content and there ain't no new achievements with it. And I'm just like, come on, like that bothers me. I don't like that.
Yep.
Yeah. So
terrible.
I'm with you. There's still ways. They still got ways to improve this thing.
Agreed. All right. Let's move on to your boy, Nikki V. All right. Let me bring this up on the other doc. Apologies.
You good. You good.
Hey, shits and giggles, Cog, and tits and gobbles, Matty.
What's going on?
Where would Microsoft be if not for Don Mattrick's reign of terror? I mean, he almost single-handedly turned Xbox from a market leader, at least in the West, to a somewhat niche product throughout most of the last generation. Could an Xbox One that retained the spirit of the early 360 years have kept up with PS4, or do you think Sony recapturing the market was always inevitable? Matty, what is this, man?
Yo, your man.
What is it? Look what he says to me. I'm going to read it because look what he says to me. And look what he says to you. I read this last night. I'm reading this. I'm baffled. It said, Matty have a penis tip caught painfully in the zipper kind of day.
Bro, don't do that.
Versus Cogs, enjoy a wonderful day befitting of your henchness. Look, this is a clear representation of how the audience views things. It's that obvious. It's just out
like
there
the disparity.
Now. Yeah, it's that obvious now. What are you thinking about where Xbox would be if maybe that Xbox One gen wasn't so tragic?
That's a great question. Shout out to Nicky V with the wild type of days that we're supposed to have.
Yeah.
But listen, man, like that is a great question because for all accounts that when we look back at the history books now, the Xbox One was the generation Microsoft was not supposed to lose. Because coming off the 360, from what we hear, a lot of third-party developments had Microsoft coming in as they were going to be the lead platform for a lot of things, right?
Yeah, those were hard.
So everybody really was behind the big publishers were behind Microsoft. You had EA, you had all these people. The problem was the TV push, the used game stuff, the digital stuff, all the Connect stuff, all that stuff that theoretically we probably still do a lot of that stuff now, but their messaging was awful. It didn't resonate. But I will say, like, if they didn't botch that and they would have kept a gaming console and the Don didn't say the infamous words that he said, and we have a console for you, and you don't like the digital, we go
360.
Bro, you don't do that to people like that, bro. That was the worst media training I've ever heard, ever. Like, yo, you don't like it? Go get the old joint. Like, what? Like, who does that? Like, where? And this man has, like, he's on a milk cart. I haven't even seen this man. There's no key. As much as I clown the Don, I would love to have an interview with the Don.
Oh, dude, yeah.
That would be like one of my. He would be my, like Colin had the Philip Newsom for Xbox. That would be mine. I want to know what was going through the mindset, because let's be real. Not only was it the generation for them not to lose, Peter Moore had that platform on a platter. Like, it was already the touchdown was. You're at the 5-yard line. All you gotta do is cross that thing over, do what you've been doing, and you're good.
Yep.
He decided, I shouldn't blame it all on him, but him and his team decided to go this other route. And, I think the last word I'll say is they got too caught up with what the Wii U was doing, because remember, the Wii was the phase with the motion controls and the da-da-da. And I caught fool's gold with Connect on 360 at the end. It started to do well. I know I don't like it. I get it. But it did sell well. Connect on 360 towards the end sold well. So they're like, okay, this is what they want. So the developers like, yo, if we put it in a box, make that one-to-one relationship so that everyone has to support it. They overthought it and they realized gamers didn't want that joint. But yeah, I would love to have the Don on just to pick the brain. What was because let's be honest, when you look at all the Xbox 20th anniversary, you look at all the history leaders, there's one omission. There's one guy that's not invited to the crew. Because Pete is there, Seamus is there, Phil is there. We had Ryan on. Ryan interviewed all three. There was one omission. There's one error that is never represented, and it's the Don. But I'll put it out now, y'all. Put it out there in the universe. I want to interview Don. We need to interview Don Mattrick on Define and Dupe. I would love it because I would, as much as he gets crap, there's a part of me that wants to know the mindset.
Yeah. Yeah. Get a little insight. It's journalism, right? Like that's
journalism.
It. Let's
move have our edgy joint.
The determinations have been made about him and see what he's all about for real. So Don, if you're listening to this, the doors are open. We will move our schedule and time for you in any way, shape, or form.
Don, speak your truth. Come on, Define and Dupe. We got you, bro. I'm gonna start looking into this.
I'm all about it, man. We gotta shoot for the stars.
Let's do it.
So for me, it's really I think it's funny because a lot of PlayStation's kickstarted success. I'm not disrespecting the games they had out the gate, but I thought Contrast was solid, right? This came from
like
Compulsion.
Yes.
I wasn't really crazy about Killzone Shadowfall. I wasn't crazy about Knack.
Yeah, me neither.
And I know this one's unpopular, but I did not like, compared to the other ones, Infamous Second Son. Like, I thought PlayStation was not strong until really, I think Bloodborne came around was when I was like, yo, this is it.
Were you a Resogun guy?
Resogun was solid. Yeah. Forgot about that one. Resogun was solid, but like nothing I loved. My PlayStation did not get a lot of mileage.
Yeah, my PS4 caught dust the first year too. I ain't gonna front. Like Xbox One lineup was superior. People forget.
Year one, yeah, dude. Year one Xbox, they had Titanfall, Rise, you had Dead Rising 3.
Dead Rising 3. Yeah,
I feel like they did a really good job out the gate with games, despite
Forza.
What I think, Forza. What played a big factor though, Cog, the messaging. I feel like that's why PlayStation managed to stay ahead, because their games, were just not there in the sense of like attractive offerings in my eyes.
Right.
I know we meme about Knack, but like, come on, right?
No, I'm with you.
It's no Sackboy, right? Like Sackboy came out with the PS5, and I think that was a good kid-friendly launch title. That alongside Astrobot, like really well played by PlayStation this generation. Yes. But I think the reason that they crawled ahead of them was because that used game fiasco. Like they just managed to say like, these things that Xbox stupidly said they're not doing, we're doing all of them. So PlayStation fans were like, hey, long term, this is the play. This is the play.
No brainer.
Exactly. I didn't think twice. I when I got my PS4, I got the Xbox One because I believed in those games.
Yep.
They did not come afterwards, though. That's when you get pushed to the PlayStation 4. Because I was very excited for Infamous Second Son. I was sorely disappointed after getting my Platinum Trophy. I was like, this ain't it. But man. I always wonder what if, and I think without Don, it would have looked a lot different.
Yeah.
That's for damn sure.
Absolutely. I agree. I would love to shout out to PlayStation though, because they were cold-hearted, bro. They smell blood in the water.
They had their opportunity. They took it.
And I would tell people that I remember that E3 like it was yesterday. Xbox always goes first. Sony usually goes later on the night because they want to get the Japanese audience as well. But they delayed their conference for about an hour, and the accounts came out. Actually, what's his name? Boys and them guys. I remember speaking because remember the infamous. This is how you trade games on PlayStation. That's
the one I'm talking about. Yeah, that's
bro,
the
that
one
was killer. That was a death blow to Xbox. Like people in the building felt demoralized. I heard during that joint. But to their credit, they said, I remember speaking to a couple of Sony execs, and they were like, "Yo, can we do this? Because they had DRM too. People don't realize they had digital DRM just like Xbox. They were going to do the same thing, just not the TV aspect, right? And they're like, "Yo, can we get rid of that?" It's like, "Yeah, we can." And that's when you got that big day one update. And it was really uninstalling all the DRM stuff that was initially planned the same way, because that was where the industry was going, this online checking, which we kind of are now in a way. But yeah, it's interesting the way history plays out, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah. I always wonder what if, but
yes,
I suppose that I'm happy it happened in a way. I know it sucked for a gen.
Oh yeah.
But I think it lit a fire under Xbox's ass that will last multiple generations.
Yes,
like
I agree.
like a mark in history. Look how they reacted to a bad showcase, man.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, my gosh, like,
yeah.
think about another bad generation like that. I feel like that'll be generationally passed down as like that will never happen again. You cannot be the next Don.
Absolutely.
So that'll hang over Xbox's head for a while, but I think in a good way.
No doubt.
Move on to Full Metal McCoy here. Hey, Duke Man, this one is mostly for Matty, but Cog, please chime in if you have any answers. I recently saw on Twitter that you're a fan of AEW, an overall fan of pro wrestling. Who's your favorite wrestler / storyline? And what are you looking forward to with future wrestling games? Have a DQ finish in the main event of a $50 pay-per-view kind of day. Are you into wrestling at all?
Oh, I was huge wrestler back in the day. Huge. All the different fans. People have been talking about this 80s. So I'm curious. So I've been hearing a lot of people in my time like, yo, Cog, you need to watch this. This AEW is kind of like the essence. People are telling me like it's the deal. So you educate me.
Yeah, man. Like you, when I was younger, big wrestling fan, like Attitude Era, of course, everyone talks about. But like, I also think of around 2006 with SmackDown and Raw. You had the Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, like legends, man, icons. Yes. The prime of John Cena, Randy Orton, like doing the RKO to Stephanie McMahon, like just so much shit. Like it was a great era too then. And just as WWE got older, I fell out of wrestling. I would watch some local events around here. Like it's called Wrestling Under the Stars, and I think it's called like Northeast Wrestling, and they get their own talent there. And what's actually cool is some of that talent I saw wrestle there, like Billy Gunn, is on AEW now, which is really cool.
Oh wow,
yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
And I know Billy Gunn was in WWE at one point, but like, my point is that was my introduction to him, so it was really neat to see that. So AEW rolls around, and I'm trying to think of how I even heard of this thing. I think I saw a pay-per-view of Casino Royale, and it was Cody Rhodes and Dustin Rhodes, and they fought each other. It was a really bloody match, and that caught my eye initially because I was like, wrestling doesn't do this nowadays. Like this kind of, ooh, he looks hurt, even though he's not. Like, ooh, he like suspending your disbelief. That's what it's all about, right? The performance,
of course.
And so I'm like, let me look into this AEW thing. And they start saying like, I think it was 2019. They're like, yeah, we're launching Dynamite every Wednesday. I'm like, okay, let's look into this. And you know, the crowd is what really I think pushes this show, because the crowd. I mean, I thought they were about it back then. Yeah. You watch the show now, like they're chanting the whole time, like ooh and a nod over everything. It just amplifies everything.
Oh, of course.
To me, that's what's huge, because whenever I watch WWE, the crowd's just fucking dead.
Yeah, they're dead. Yeah,
dead now. They weren't back then, but like now they're just in seats, man. Just sitting there with their wine, like, okay, we're watching this show today. You know, just relaxing. A nice, relaxing wrestling show. Yeah. So AEW, I've been watching for about 2+ years now. I fell off a little bit during the pandemic because the storylines that they were telling got completely reworked, because they were like, we can't keep doing this. Like they were going to, I bought tickets, or not I bought tickets. My girlfriend got us tickets for our anniversary to go see Blood and Guts. It was this steel cage pay-per-view kind of event. And yeah, they had to shut it down because it was right in the pandemic. And she had to fight tooth and nail to get her money back, by the way. She finally did. Yikes. But you know, we were going to see that like front row seats. I was so excited, man. Sucks that it got canned though. So they had to rewrite all these stories. So I fell out of it for a little bit, but then I got back into it. I've been back into it for a while now. And what's interesting about the future of wrestling games is, as 2K works on the WWE series, Ukes, who used to make the WWE games, has moved on to work with AEW. And they're making the wrestling games now. And Ukes did a damn good job with WWE. They maybe not did not reinvent the wheel, but they made really solid wrestling games. And the second they left is when you had that broken, buggy 2K WWE game that forced them to take a year off and then make Battlegrounds. That's what happened when Ukes left. So keep in mind that they were steady, man. And they also got the director of No Mercy on this game.
Yeah, now you speaking to my soul. Those are my wrestling games there.
So I'm big on AEW, where they're heading. You know, I'm a big Adam Cole fan. I'm a big Adam Page guy, something with the name Adam, I guess. But just those two to me are excellent.
I'm looking at it now. It looks cool, man. AEW games.
Man.
Yeah, looking cool. I see Ukes, behind it. They got some face scan. Okay. Yeah, this looks good.
I really do genuinely recommend to people that if you're into wrestling or were into wrestling like I was, check out AEW. They got Bryan Danielson, known as Daniel Bryan, over in WWE. They got CM Punk now.
Yeah, that's a big get.
Yeah.
He was gone for a while too.
Yeah, he was gone for 7 years. And the thing that's great about AEW is the wrestlers are pretty open about the locker room environment, and the management environment in WWE was not good. And it was to the point where CM Punk was like, I'm out, I'm done.
Yeah.
And AEW has been solid enough for long enough with its management and the freedom that they give their wrestlers that they're coming out of retirement. You got Sting there, bro. Sting is a fucking icon, man.
It's an icon right there. That's an OG.
And you see this blending of old and new. They got this guy Darby Allin, who's literally in a lot of ways a young Sting, but he's very reckless. And they both have face paint. And that's always been Darby Allin's thing. And I remember when I first saw Darby Allin, I'm like, yo, that kind of reminds me of Sting. And then they announced Sting joins the roster, and Sting's Darby Allin's manager, effectively. He's there ringside with him. Just seeing them walk out together, man. It's I thought when I was watching WWE in the early 2010s and stuff, I'm like, man, we're never gonna have that moment where I sit there and go, oh, I wish I was there for that, right? Or I wish I was watching that, right? When I watch Attitude Era, I'm like, man, watching Stone Cold and The Rock, it's I wish I was there for that.
Hell
right?
Yeah.
Stone Cold slapping beers together and flipping off the crowd. Just I was like, man, you don't see that nowadays. But AEW's got that kind of tea for teen levels.
Okay, so they got the feel then. They got the feel.
They got the edge, the middle fingers, the cursing, the blood. Yeah, they got it all, but I think they're in a good area where they're pretty safe with it.
Okay.
Some of the wrestlers are newer where you'll see some spots and you're like, I don't like what I saw there. Someone could have really got hurt there. But for the most part, it's pretty good. Okay. I'm talking off the ladder through a table type stuff.
Love it.
Really, really ambitious talent. So
yeah, bro, we used to watch every week. Solve is the one that got us all Solve used to wrestle, and then Solve was the one that got us all really hardcore back into watching. I mean, I've always watched because I've been watching since the 80s. Whenever you see me do this, when we do Ultimate, it's because I'm doing the Ultimate Warriors Gorilla Press. Ultimate Warrior is my favorite wrestler during the 80s era, right? So then I went through it, and I remember the Attitude Era, and I remember it was a time, those Monday Night Wars, bro, and it was yo, we watching it's going to be, because remember, it was Nitro and Raw at the same time, so you got to choose.
Yeah.
So you're yo, what they doing? Oh, somebody. Oh, wow, the Rock and the Stone Cold going. Oh, I'm over here. You know what I'm saying? It was one of them joints.
Posted up,
Yeah, and then I remember oh, wow, they doing the NWO. What's this? This is crazy. These are ex-WWE guys. It was a thing. And then the other part for moments for me with wrestling was the ECW era. Because I'm oh, these dudes is raw. And I've never seen a crowd. ECW. Yeah, they people were
a lot of that in AEW, the chants.
Yeah, and I'm getting that vibe from AEW. And then it became the wrestling you watch, then you pick up the wrestling game. Everybody's got the character, competitive aspect of it. And it was a rotation. I rocked it all the way. I rocked it for a while. And I kind of cooled off. A lot of the older guys left. And then I'm just kind of fell off. I'm not in the scandals and all the stuff started happening. But everyone is telling me, 2 people in my DMs, AEW Cog, I'm telling you. And I'm all right, I got to check it out. So now you're the third.
Do you remember Chris Jericho? Because he's there too.
Hell yeah, that was my man. I didn't know that.
Chris Jericho is one of my favorites of all time, man.
Hell yeah. The Lion Tamer?
Yeah, he's there, man. He's there. He's still wrestling. Yeah, he talks on the mic. He's still great on the mic.
Beast on the mic.
Yeah. Still there, still killing it. Yeah, he's there. I'm trying to think of other notable ones. Nothing's coming to mind right
CM
off the
Punk's
top
a
of my
big
head.
you
Yeah,
said.
CM Punk
That's
though.
a
Yeah, like
huge.
those are the main three in my eyes. Like Chris Jericho, CM Punk, Bryan
Okay.
Danielson. Like those are
Yeah.
obviously great
It's
talent
the
you'll
little
learn
guy that
about.
used to go, yes, yes, that guy,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
That little guy.
yeah,
Okay, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I'm gonna check it out. Let's see what's going on.
dude. Absolutely, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it.
Yeah, and that game looked cool, so I'm
Oh yeah.
interested. Mhm.
All right, last question of the show goes to Owen. Hey, Dukes, I want to complain about the Halo Battle Pass some more, but I'll save that for after the holiday. It's my favorite day of the year this week and Thanksgiving. That's right, Christmas, I said it. What? So I thought I would ask, do either of you have any fun holiday traditions? For example,
Ooh.
after a lovely day of stuffing, pie, football, and your game meat of choice, I sit down with a beer and watch Die Hard without fail every year. Hope you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Owen.
Salute. Great question, Owen.
Yeah,
Salute. Yeah,
thank you, Owen.
holidays is fun. Yeah. Thank you for saving the battle pass. Check out the Fight and Duke Ultimate.
Yeah,
Sir.
yeah, yeah.
We,
I
we got a
intentionally
lot.
reworked the show.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly.
We
Exactly.
went
We were.
too, so it's like, all right.
Yeah. Absolutely. Now for holidays, yes, I do like Thanksgiving. That is good because I'm greedy. I like to eat, and you get the big spread. Like, I love Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving is fun. Surprisingly, my favorite holiday over the years has now New Year's is elevated to my favorite.
Okay.
It's weird now. Don't get like Christmas not as much anymore. Like my family's not really a big Christmas family. I'm just gonna be honest. It's just not. It's none of that really is going down.
Sure.
But New Year's was a personal thing because it's like I come from the era from old school where it was like Dick Clark and the ball drop and you watch it. And I never went. I remember like one year I think we went into the city. It was hectic, whatever. But now what we like to do is friends, some fam, we go up. We usually pick a spot, sometimes my friend's house in Connecticut. Everybody comes to bring the significant other. And then it's like we get to drink the food and we reflecting like, yo, all this kind of went down this year. Like this, like New Year's is our thing. Like I don't try to miss that at all. And you watch the ball drop and you're just like, yo, you put your champagne on, yo, we made another one. We made another one. You know what I'm saying? So that's New Year's is that as I've gotten older, that's become my personal favorite. Yeah, for you, what are out of the holidays? Like what are your favorite ones?
Yeah, Christmas is always number one on my list.
Yeah, you sound like a Christmas boy. You that dude with the toys and
I'm the Christmas
tree.
I still make a list, send to my mom. Like, we're very yeah. Like she's very like rooted in her like routine. Like I guarantee even when I'm 40 and I'm like I'll be out of my house, but like she'll still want lists. Like that's just how it's gonna be, right? Like I'll happily do that. Like I'm big on tradition. Respect. I'm big on keeping the kid alive inside. Like I don't need to get old and jaded. Like I can get old, but I don't need to get jaded.
You don't need to get jaded.
So I'm big on keeping those types of things alive. Like, yeah, do I write it and put it in the fucking mailbox letter to Santa like I used to? No, I don't. But like, yeah, I'll send her like an email of shit like that. I'm like, all
right, respect.
Because like I look at it this way too. It would upset her if she could not do that. Right. That's like it's that important to her, and it's important to me. Like I like to take lists from her and my rest of my family. So Christmas definitely takes number one. But you know what's funny is this year was the first year I found myself in a little bit of a Halloween mood.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not a horror fan, guy, so I didn't watch any movies. But I like the weather. I like the vibe. I was playing a game, having some tea, rainy outside. I don't know. I liked it. There was a coziness to it this year that I was like, all right, I'm monitoring you. You might be on the list.
I'm monitoring you, Halloween.
Yeah, you might be on the list. But, really my tier list is, of course, for the holidays, Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's. Like New Year's is like, all right.
Okay.
Whatever. Like I if I could sit in every New Year's, I would. I don't have that option anymore as taken man. But if I could, I would. But I just don't care. I don't care. It's another day for me, man. I've slept through New Year's. I've stayed up through it. Like I don't care.
No, respectful. Respect. I get it.
But with Thanksgiving, it's just I don't know. It's like for me, it used to be like it could have taken over Christmas, but not to get too sad here. But as a lot of my family has passed on, Thanksgiving used to be a real like large gathering,
large day. Yeah.
Now it's like just my family, like my like mom, dad, brother, and my uncle's coming through this year, and like that's it. When it used to be like 10 plus people, that's kind of sad, right? It's like damn.
Yeah.
So Thanksgiving still means a lot. Still love it. Still have a great time with it. But I do miss. I think the Thanksgivings of yore were much better.
Yeah. No, I respect that. I mean, like I said, the holidays weren't as big on my side. On my father's side, my dad separated. On my father's side, it was big. And I will say, because he is like, yo, I ain't feeling this Christmas thing that y'all got. I'm taking you. And when he would have, time to come visit me when he was around, he was in the city, his fam, they did it up. Oh my God, Christmas was insane. Yeah. And that's when I learned kind of like what the Christmas spirit thing is.
Right.
And he would be like, look, we're going to get you this, we're going to do this. And I'm just like, okay, like I could get into this. Yeah. I like this, kind of thing. So he made it his business to kind of keep that going for me, because that was kind of absent in my life with my mom. Like, she's just not into that at all. Like, they're super religious. But because if any parents that know, anybody who's listening whose parents are JW, there was none of that. There was no Christmas. There was none of that in a JW household. So anyway, long story short, I will say, but yeah, Thanksgiving, it was something about the turkey, stuffing, the cranberry, what I'm saying? Like, I do like that. I do like that aspects of it, kind of thing.
But for me, it's really with Christmas, like the giving.
Yes.
As a kid, you don't have an income. So like, I feel like it's really hard to get into the giving of the season, but now when I like buy gifts, I get really excited to wrap them up, because I'm like, I can't wait to see so-and-so's reaction.
Yes.
When they get this. Like, I found me and my friends do a little Friendsmas every year. We get each other like a gift or two, and it's like three of us, and we'll just exchange. And last night, my friend's like a huge Undertale fan, and I'm on like Fan Gamer, just scrolling through, and I find that they had a Sans hoodie, right? And he loves Sans, and I'm just like, oh, he has no idea what he's about to unwrap on Christmas. Like, he's gonna lose it, man. So I think it's stuff like that where that to me is like the really exciting part of the year now. It's like I'm fortunate enough to have an income where I can treat people around me, surprise them with things that they didn't expect. I'm not like fucking LeBron James going like, I got you a car, Ma.
A new car.
Yeah. Yeah. I got you the house you want. You can retire. Like, I can't do that yet. Maybe one day.
We ain't there yet. The channel ain't there yet.
But I can get my mom a new appliance she's been hoping for a while, and
respect.
So that's kind of what brings the season to me. It brings joy to me during the season, rather.
Yeah, respect, brother. I totally get it, man.
Yeah.
Totally get it.
And so, thank you for the questions, everybody. We hope you enjoyed this holiday-themed episode. Certainly, we'll have more later this year with Christmas coming up. And once again, to everyone who's celebrating Thanksgiving, we hope you have a wonderful Turkey Day. For those of you who don't, again, my apologies to you. Cog, this week's hashtag, what are we feeling?
Oh, wow, I didn't even think about it. Again, I'll be blank. I'll be soul in the zone with the episode. And I sometimes I forget. Damn.
Well, thankful DD, maybe?
Yeah. Let's keep the spirit going.
Yeah.
Thankful DD. Thankful to do it. Thankful for the listeners. Thankful, I don't even know how long. It feels like it's longer that me and you've been podcasting, but really probably in reality is not. But just thankful to be doing this with you and enjoying this ride and having fun. And, Last Stand Media family has been tremendous. It's been awesome. And, looking forward to the future. So, thankful DD. I like that.
Absolutely. I'm right there with you. We're very thankful for our audience, for those who really champion us and allow us to grow and just tune in every week. So thank you to you for writing in. Especially, that's that contribution makes the show possible. It let us make this would this have had a holiday theme without it, right? Like they're the stuffing to our turkey.
No doubt.
Anyway, thank you everyone for tuning into episode 47. We'll be back next week with episode 48 as expected. So until next time, take great care of yourselves. Have a good holiday for those celebrating, and peace out.
Peace.
Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast, is a product and trademark of Last Stand Media and Collins Last Stand LLC, and is recorded from the United States of America. The show is conceived by Matthew Mr. Matty Plays Schroeder and me, Colin Moriarty, and is written and produced by Matthew Schroeder. Matty's co-host is Barry Lord Cognito Eversley. Defining Duke's executive producer is Dustin Furman, and the show is edited by associate producer Ben Smith. All of Last Stand's theme music is by Ramon Narvaez. As you know, all of Last Stand Media's shows, including Defining Duke, are fan-funded on Patreon at patreon.com/laststandmedia. The following names are at the producer support level on Patreon, and we're thankful for your kindness and generosity.